Hear every playoff game right here. Your home for Boston Celtics basketball. WBC FM and HD1 Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics will open up their best-of-7 second-round playoff series against the Knicks tonight at TD Garden. The team announced yesterday everyone is available to play, and that includes Drew Holiday, who missed the final 3 games of their first-round win over Orlando with a strained hamstring. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The winner of this series will play the winner of Cleveland, Indiana, and the Pacers pulled a big upset last night. They beat the top-seeded Cavaliers 121-112 in Game 1. Out west, Golden State took Game 7 in Houston 103-89. They advanced to play Minnesota in Round 2. The Red Sox bullpen blew another lead yesterday. The result was another loss, 5-4 to Minnesota at Fenway Park. Garrett Crochet allowed 1 run in 5 innings and left with a 3-1 lead. But then Alex Cora saw Garrett Whitlock and Justin Slayton be unable to hold it.
Tough week for the movement, right? But we got good stuff. They're good pitchers, you know. We just have to make adjustments. Like I said before the game, we have to make sure we execute. There were a lot of 2-out hits, 2-strike hits, and we just got to be better.
Sox are back at 500 for the season. They have tonight off. They'll play Texas tomorrow night at Fenway Park. The NHL's draft lottery is tonight. The Bruins have an 8.5% chance of landing the top selection. Last night, former Bruins coach Jim Montgomery in St. Louis took a brutal Game 7 loss. They were up 3-1 with less than 2 minutes left, and they lost to Western Conference top seed Winnipeg 4-3 in double overtime. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher.
When has that been necessary to fact check?
And Hardy.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
On 98.5.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT loading up.
Let me hear you say, "Boo! Boo! Boo!"
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn dragon!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that.
Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fun. Having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Nicholas was at an event I was at, the Woo Sox game. I didn't see him, but
What?
he was there. No, he was with his wife, and he got a little kid.
Yeah, but you didn't text him, say, hey, where are you sitting now? Come over and say hello to the lad.
We text several times.
Give him a thrill.
We text several times, but there was he didn't get back to me, and then we had left, and there was just. It wasn't going to happen. You know, he's got like a 3-year-old or 2-year-old, 3-year-old,
2-year-old, I think.
Two. Is it closer to 3 or 2?
No, it was about 22 months now.
Closer to 2, says Nicholas.
No, though he's over 22 months.
I don't think so.
Well, he's 2.
How old is he, Nick?
He's 2.
2 years old.
He's exactly 2 years old today.
2 years.
Well, then he
3
would
months.
be 26. Then he's 27 months. There's 12 months in a year.
Oh,
he's
are there?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said 22.
I thought he
months.
was just shy of 2.
No. He's a big lad. It looks like, according to the photos that Nick. You know, plus Nick needs to drink a lot.
I was going to say, plus Nick was half in the wrapper because it was afternoon.
Yeah, you know, like he's a big, he was a big cocktail guy because the Woo Sox give you, passes to up in the.
Oh, you got into the club, did you? Behind home plate?
It's not behind home plate. Well, yeah,
Up
it is,
above.
but up above. Yeah, we got in there. There's a buffet, a $25 buffet that my son very much enjoyed, but Nick was bopping around, and by the time Nick got up there, it was very late in the experience. You know, my son and I had to get there early. Mm-hmm. We got there at like noon, so then it was like a 1:05 first pitch. I mean, we were there for a while, and so, Nick's drinking and dropping that kid all over the place.
Right.
Pung, ka, po, ag.
Yeah. You know, kids falling down the stairs and Nick's
Matza
falling
sushi?
right next to him. So there you go. So that was happening. But Hardy was not here Friday because on Saturday he saw Lyle Lovett.
No. Thursday.
Thursday he saw Lyle Lovett. And we were talking about this, and then you took Friday off.
I was supposed to stay overnight near where we were seeing Lyle Lovett.
Which was how far from your home?
Like an hour.
Okay. So what time did you get home?
11:30.
Okay. Which is, and then you took the next day. Did you enjoy the day? Did you enjoy Friday?
Yeah, I understand you're trying to make sport of me for taking the day off. And had
No, I'm not making sport of you at all from it. You misread it.
Were you trying to make sport of me on Friday? Because that's the information I received. And
No.
if the information is wrong, I will kill the messenger.
The information is wrong. What I was doing is
John?
you took John's word for it? Like he understood the conversation?
I was sitting right here. Yes.
Yeah, I know you were sitting here. Again, you took his word like he understood the conversation? Come on, Hardy.
I said you compared it to the day that you took off because you had dropped Milo off, and there was a double standard. That was the word. Those were the words you used.
Yeah. All right. Well, then Hardy's using the wrong words. Listen, I don't want you two fighting over this. So
Over
cut
you.
it out. Yeah, over little old me. No, I don't have any issue with you taking the day off at all. In fact, I don't have an issue with anyone taking any day off.
Of course not. Nor do I have an issue with you taking the day off.
No, but it was but all I'll say is this. Is that it was no, I wasn't making sport of you at all. Did John say I was making sport of you, or did he just say that I was comparing the two?
Comparing the two.
Comparing the two, I guess.
So John, I apologize.
Thank you.
You know how he dances around stuff and he won't say it? I think that's what he was trying to say.
Okay, that's the way you interpreted it.
Right.
All right.
I tried to, glean what it is, the point he's trying to get across.
Well, it's like when you got to read a cat's meows. You got to have it for a while. When a bird starts chirping,
Right.
how the hell is my name up on the caller ID?
You're calling yourself?
So, are you calling me from the studio phone? Because then my phone's ringing with the studio phone number.
That's weird.
Oh, boy. Isn't that weird? My phone name came up on the studio phone, and then my phone was ringing with the studio number on it.
We were having issues with the phones all last week.
Yeah, but I don't. But Adam, that doesn't explain
but
that.
No, that doesn't at all. That's very odd.
It's almost like it got hacked.
Hmm.
That's pretty weird. What did happen when you answered the phone, Nick? No one was there?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like
All
a
right.
spooky movie.
But here's
No, let me get to what I was saying.
Well, let me just say this. When I was, and again, of course, nobody has an issue with anybody taking their scheduled days off. What I didn't understand about you was that you decided you didn't want to work on a day where you had to get up early. And to me, that's the perfect day to work. Hey, I'm already up. I might as well just go to work.
Okay, and I'll say this, is that I go to bed at 11:30 all the time, or get home at 11:30 like once a week.
Ugh.
And I look at getting up at 3 as going to bed essentially at 3. Like that being at the airport at 4:20 and then that means I was home at like 4:45, 40. That's the equivalent of staying up until 4:40 in the morning, and then I slept until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Getting home at 11:30, I can go home and I can go right to sleep and then get up in the morning. I find it easier to get home at 11:30 at night and then sleep and then get up and go to work than essentially just stay up all night. Getting up at 3 in the morning for me is like staying up all night. There's no way I was going to be able to go, okay, let's go to sleep now, and then we'll get up at 3.
But this was all part of the conversation, too, as I remember it, was why did you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to take an Uber and get to the airport by 4:20 when you live 20 minutes away
now
from the airport?
Felger's calling me.
What the hell is going on?
What's going on with the phone? Weird.
See if there's anyone there.
Hello? Hello? Weird, huh?
Because Felger, well,
That is weird.
he calls you all the time, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Every day.
Calls everybody.
So my number called.
Likes to
chat.
mingle with
All right,
everyone.
just to chat.
All right.
Yeah, walk us through this again.
Yeah. Because thank you, Adam. Because this is strange. This just happened. So my number called the studio line. My phone I'm not touching my phone.
Yeah.
Then while that simultaneously, I called myself on the cell phone. My number came up on my cell phone, not as me, but as my number. And then Felger called my phone. I wonder if someone has hacked my phone.
So check your. That was an answered call just now from
Yeah.
Felger, right?
Yeah.
So pull it up in your phone. I want to see if it's actually his number or if someone has just like hacked your address book
Okay.
and is using it.
Oh, yeah.
You show me the number, or you can just say Felger's phone number on the air and, read it out loud to me. All right, let me check that.
You remember?
No, I got to see it again.
Good.
Hold on. Got it.
All right. Very good.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right now, Felger's number is calling
Yeah,
line 2.
that's his number.
Yeah. Now Felger's number is calling line 2.
Is there anyone on the line, Nicholas? There's no one on the line.
What the hell is going on?
Weird.
Isn't that weird?
This is really, really weird.
Very strange.
And that is his number.
And that's his. Let me ask you this: the number that you showed from your contacts is a cell phone number, or is it his cubicle office number from down the way?
What do you think, Adam?
No, I'm asking. No, I'm asking seriously because they're pulling a bunch of office phones out of here.
right.
So I'm trying to think of different scenarios where there could be cross lines. That's why I asked if it's the office line versus the cell phone. Because if it was the office line, we could be having a whole situation in the building with the phones here.
The lines are crossed.
Fred has that cubicle number in his phone.
It's a valid question.
Is that his mailing address or his telephone number?
So does P.O. Box?
Well, it's kind of the same joke.
Wait, is he faxing you?
All right. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, and it just started happening. So if someone's broken into my phone,
That's not good.
well, at least it's on the record. At least it happened during the show, because now you know, like, if something weird happens, like on social media or something, that it's not me.
It's that damn scamp that pranked Shador Sanders. He's having a go at us now.
Well, nobody would believe you, or none of us believe anybody now when they say their phone got hacked.
Right.
But this is pretty good evidence here.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I have witnesses, so good.
Nice.
So there you go. And now Zolak.
All right, hold on a second.
Hello? Yeah, nobody.
Weird.
And it's all people from the Sports Hub?
Yeah, someone's got to be doing a bit. Someone hacked your stuff and is doing a bit because they knew you'd be on the air right now, right? That'd be the time to do it.
Okay, you may have accidentally allowed a malicious app to access your contact list. Many smartphone apps, websites, and cloud services request access to your contact list when you sign up. If you grant access to a malicious app, it gets hacked or breached. Spoofers can access all of the numbers in your contact
Did
list.
you download an app in the last 24 hours to your phone?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
All right, give me your phone.
Why? What are you supposed to do?
Well, now I have to go through your entire phone and look at things because
You have to
you're
look at
obviously
things?
not responsible enough to use it.
Yeah. All right, now I got to get rid of this app.
What's the app?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we can be on the lookout.
This is
No,
just-
not to download it.
Just give us an idea what the app is. In what realm does it fall? Is it social? Is it a meet and great type of
No,
app?
it's. I'll tell you off the air. It's not anything important. It's. I went out to dinner with these guys and we were looking up these dudes' numbers for something, and I think that's what ended up happening. Well, I can tell you off air what it was, and you'll laugh.
Okay.
But I can't say it on the air because it's kind of mean. And I don't want to implicate anyone in anything.
Scruff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I got rid of the app.
The Scruff app.
Scruff.
Yeah.
I got rid of the app. So there you go. That's over. All right. Well, look, that was exciting, and I'm sure it was exciting for the audience. So anyway, back to the Hardy thing. I just again was fascinated by your not understanding of me, or it even being that big a topic of conversation. But getting home at 11:30 is something that I probably do on a weekly basis. Most Thursday nights, I'm probably out till 11:30, because that's the night I don't have the kids, for sure. Like every week, that's the week the day I don't have the kids. So I go out every Thursday night. That's the only night that I'll go out for sure. So, so I'm coming in here Fridays.
It still doesn't explain why you have to get up at 3 a.m. to catch a ride to the airport at 4.
Okay, so he packed at his mom's house, came over, and as evidenced by his lack of baseball pants when he came back from Florida.
That was on the return.
Right. I had to go through with him that morning. Like you don't understand when your son is going away, where there's a lot of required things that they have. I had to go through that morning and make sure specifically that they were in his suitcase. Like the amount of detail to get him, or to get, she doesn't really have anything like this, but to get him because like if you don't have it, you can't play, and you're going down there to play. And there was a practice uniform, 2 game uniforms, all his equipment, a glove, a backup glove, a first baseman's glove. Like, I mean, I had to get him up and to like make sure that he had everything, to, triple check that he didn't take anything of mine. Like, I got up at 3, I got him up at like 3:30, and then sifted through all his crap, went through all his crap with him. And I got him up before 3:30. I got him at 3:15 because then I don't want to go Milo, like my mom did to me, and I wanted to like strangle her. So I wake him up and I go, all right. I go, hey, I need you at 3:45. And so I got up at 3. I got him up at 3:15. I said, I need you at 3:45. That gives him a half an hour to get his crap together, so I don't have to nag him. And then I meticulously went through all his stuff, and then he had to be there at 4:20. I had that car pick us up, I believe, a little before 4. So, it wasn't crazy. I got up at 3.
Now this gets to the choice of, and some people are morning Packers, other people are night Packers. If it were,
he packed at his mom's at night.
Yeah, if it were me, I would, and again, this is just like a preference thing. But I would have like insisted upon going through everything like the night before, and then you're going to put it by the front door and you're not going to touch it. And that's where that goes.
Too much can happen by the time I go to bed and he gets up.
I get it. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Especially with
I
his
needed
equipment.
one thing out of my suitcase. So I went in there and
Yes.
took a charger out, but then I also took out 15 things.
The only way
especially
to do this,
with his equipment, like that he could really start, because who knows, because he brought a backup mitt, but the mitt's not really broken in, so he could have gone taken both mitts out and then gone down there with no mitt, and he's left-handed, and they're not going to have like just a left-handed mitt.
You had to
laying
take
around.
the mitt out in between the mattress and box spring that he slipped on the night before.
Hardy, you say that, there's a good chance he probably did that night or put it under something else.
the only way to do it, the foolproof plan, is to pack them beforehand, then physically take the suitcase with you to your place. I don't know if that's feasible. Probably not. But that's the only way to get it done the night before.
Yeah, that's tough. Anyway, I took Friday off, and then I did not feel good the entire day because I can't sleep in, so I still got up early and I thought it was Saturday all day, and then the kids had a half day and came home like at 11:30 in the morning.
Half day
and
on
ruined
Friday?
everything. They had a half day last Friday.
Weird.
I don't know why. But then that screws everything up. So I didn't know what was going on.
All right. All right. Lots went on last night. I feel bad for Jim Montgomery. I watched the end of that game. And then the first overtime. And then, a lot of the basketball, the Celtics are playing today. It's a whole thing. We'll be right back.
More Toucher and
Dutcher and Hardy, what happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happens to change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. I forgot to tell you the other thing, the other app, the thing that I was doing
app?
at dinner. I was doing at dinner. But go ahead. What was going on last night?
Well, let's start local. Let's start with the local 9, huh? Yeah, the Boston Red Sox taking on the Minnesota Twins. Things looking good early.
High chop, and that's going to get through. 1 run is in.
Oh, 1 run is in. It's the Boston Chop. Wake up. We're going to get your makeup. Go chop on ribby. Got it out of ribby. Chop suey. System of a ribby.
Oh,
Hey.
I like what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
That was very good.
Wake up. Oh, that's my friend. But I had a different name for it. It was my hand.
That was a 2-run RBI single to make it 2-1 Boston. The Twins would answer, though, and go up 5-3 until...
High fly ball right field. Bader fading back to the wall, and it is gone. Abreu touches the ball. A 2-out solo shot in the 8th inning. That'll make it 5-4.
And it would remain 5-4
Yeah.
as the Red Sox lose
Yeah.
2 of 3 to Minnesota.
Not good.
Listen.
Not good. But again, everyone else in the division is terrible.
Yeah.
And you're only a couple of games out of first place, even though you're 500.
But what happened Friday is, and I have some information about this, is Tristan Cassis, obviously, he's out for the season. He slips on first base. Apparently, Devers is not playing first base. And if you think they're moving Roman Anthony to first base to bring him up to the majors, you are mistaken as well. That neither of those things are going to happen. There's talk of Bregman moving to first. Apparently, there's talk of the left fielder moving to first base. There's a lot of talk of a lot of things.
Apparently, Vaughn Grissom is now going to take grounders at first for Worcester.
But what should happen is that Devers should play first base. I mean, give him a couple weeks to learn the position. I can't believe that have they ever even in spring training had him play over at first base?
I can't remember that at all. I don't think that's
seems
happened.
so obvious.
Yeah.
It
Just
does
stick him
seem
at
obvious.
first.
Yeah.
Well, you can't stick him at first. I understand what you're saying. I don't know why they didn't foresee this maybe happening, playing Devers at first. He's an infielder. He just has to learn how to field the position, which is people look down at first base as how important it is defensively, even though it's incredibly important defensively. But look, he sucked at third. In a lot of that was throwing.
Right.
So maybe first base is easier for him. Go ahead.
The other part of this is if you looked at the Red Sox organization at the beginning of the season, this position is clearly a big weak spot behind Casas. There's literally nobody else. I mean,
Right.
they have Romy Gonzalez at first base, whatever. It would have made sense once you got Devers in camp and he's healthy, whatever, to have him take at least a few grounders there in an emergency situation.
I guess they don't want to bring him out of his routine. Like, Cora's a big routine guy, and they don't want to bring him out of his routine.
Okay, but now you're stuck.
Yes.
Now you're in trouble. Now this is a team that's supposed to go somewhere, and you lost a left-handed hitting power corner position.
Right, and you can't bring Roman Anthony's 20 years old. You can't act him to come up adjust to major league pitching and learn a new position. There's
And
just
Marcelo
no way.
Myers the same way.
Yeah,
You can't, you're not gonna waste that guy at first base.
Now, are you saying Meyer or Mayer? Because they call
Meyer.
All right, they called him Mayer
Okay.
yesterday.
I heard Meyer all the way through spring
I
training.
heard Meyer too, but they were calling him Mayer yesterday.
Okay.
So I don't know what to tell you. But either way, they're not moving him from shortstop.
No.
Or they could play him at second.
That's the thing. They had Mayer play second, short, and third during the spring.
Right.
And I understand that Devers was behind everyone because he had shoulder problems, but give him some grounders at first.
Well,
There's
it's just
no excuse for this happening to this organization.
Yeah, like let him start fielding first. I'm not concerned so much about the grounders as his ability to play first base. Look, if you have a guy who can't play first base at first base, you want to talk about a position you're going to figure out right away. I mean, the ball goes there a lot. I mean, you have to throw there a lot. There's a lot of throws that are off target or in the dirt that the first baseman you take for granted they're going to get. That stretch they do, you take for granted that you're going to get. At the major league level, that stretch can mean everything. I mean, it's a fraction of a second between an out and not getting an out. That little, if they can gain 6 inches of distance, could be the difference between safe and out. And it's not as easy as it seems, but there's really no reason Devers couldn't be a serviceable first baseman, at least while you figured things out.
And you're not losing anything. Bregman was already at third. You still have great defense on that side of the diamond, and having Romy Gonzalez and Vaughn Grissom at a platoon, which is what seems like they're going to try, doesn't make any sense for a team that's supposed to be good. Well, get that bat in the lineup, and
it was Abreu. The talk of not Devers, Abreu at first.
Okay.
I said left field. I meant right field. Abreu at first was something I guess they were kicking around.
And you know what? If you want to do that, that makes sense because then you can promote Roman Anthony and play him every day.
Right.
That would make a lot of sense
right.
if they ever wanted to do that.
But I heard.
But the problem is Abreu's a Gold Glover and right.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard that. And I completely agree. And I think it would be criminal. If you got a 20-year-old kid who's the number one prospect in baseball, you cannot ask him to learn first base while he comes up and adjusts to major league pitching.
No.
It's impossible anyway at that age, and it's so hard to adjust. The difference between AAA pitching and major league pitching is so great that there's no way you can ask him to do that. So anyone who's asking for that, you rethink it because you don't want them ruining the kid.
It's Meyer, by the way.
Okay.
According to not only pronunciation guy, but our own Mike Antonellis.
All right.
Blue Sox.
Okay. A couple of writers called him Mayor yesterday. Ray, go ahead.
Hey, Fred, you say it all the time that being on the air, a little bit of a performance you put on. I got to tell you, you couldn't have been more endearing and genuine and nice yesterday. Got to meet you for the first time. Very happy I got to do so. Just awesome to meet you. In 12, you helped me out going through a little bit of a divorce situation. You sent me some kind messages. So all around, just appreciate you guys. Love the show. Keep up the good work, boys.
We got you,
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
There you go.
Wallach could send you messages, too. He's been divorced.
Maybe I should.
Well, I
he
didn't
didn't
send him
reach out to
messages.
me. So.
He didn't reach out to me about the divorce. He reached out to Adam.
Yeah, we had a conversation.
Oh, nice.
Good. Well, that was nice of you.
There you go.
While he was talking, I flipped off John and Hardy.
True colors.
Because the guy was saying nice stuff to me.
True colors.
In your face, fools.
That's one.
In your face, fools.
So the Red Sox lost. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
big yogurt, deep yogurt.
Let's talk about Game 7 last night and Stanley Cup playoffs.
I had bet, not that it matters, but I had bet the Blues to win. I was very much rooting for Jim Montgomery.
Yeah, home ice, Game 7, up 3-1.
No, they weren't on home. They were in Winnipeg.
Yes.
Excuse me, in Winnipeg. But Blues up 3-1. Much like they were up 3-1 in Game 7 in another Stanley Cup playoff situation.
Yeah, I seem to remember that.
Doesn't that ring a bell?
Yeah,
some other
that
Game
long
7
ago.
at some point.
Yeah.
And unable to hold on to the lead. Waning moments of regulation.
Far side, quick shot, deflected in front. They score! Cole Perfetti with a deflection. 1.6 seconds left in the third period. The Jets have tied it up at 3. Holy smokes! 1.6 seconds left, and Winnipeg has tied it at 3.
Yeah, there's nothing like two goals in 2 minutes to finish that game in the finish regulation to tie it. It's funny how long 2 minutes is in a playoff hockey game. It just is forever.
When you've got the goalie pulled and you've got the extra
You're
skater.
on defense and you're pinned in your own end. 2 minutes is forever.
And so, but in Montgomery was getting pissed because, like, look, you get the puck in the corner and you just fire it out and you ice it. Yeah. But St. Louis was getting the puck on their sticks, like by the blue line, and just firing it and icing it. So you're only killing you're killing less, maybe a second.
I was going to say,
and then everybody on offense gets to rest.
Right, and then you got to come up and win a face-off. And their captain won like every face-off. The Blues were very fortunate in that, but I don't understand that strategy. I do when there's like a bunch of bodies and you're behind and you're just trying to rattle it around the boards and like get it out of there.
I guess the thought is this, Fred. If you have a chance to like get it out of your own end and you've got a path, obviously you do that. But if you're going to have to get through traffic in order to get across the blue line, get it out of your zone, and you get moved off the puck, not only have you given up possession, but now you're out of position to get back and play D.
Right, but Montgomery was getting pissed because they were getting the puck like around the blue line and then just firing it instead of skating and like running off a little more time. Because if the puck's on your stick,
right,
and you're out there, you can see. I mean, like, and even if you lose the puck out there, they got to get onside. So like you're. I'm talking about like around the blue line again.
Yeah, when you're right there.
Yeah,
just take it across yourself.
Yeah, and so it was excruciating. And right before that goal, they had the puck tied up on the boards, and they were just sitting there, and time was ticking. And I'm not even quite sure how they allowed someone in front of the net like that. But that happened, and then there was a scoreless overtime, and then it went into the second. I didn't see this. It was
second
the second
overtime.
Yeah.
Pionk walks the line, wristed through traffic. He scores! Deflected in front by the captain, Adam Lowry. Jets win! Jets win! Jets win! In double overtime tonight!
Yeah, the Winnipeg was starting about 2 minutes into the game was down their best defenseman, so they were playing 5 defensemen for 4.5 periods or 4 1/3 periods. It's you ever watch like college hockey, like you might find yourself at a college hockey game like once every 5 years or something. You know how it moves?
No way to get out of it.
It moves like a little. It doesn't look like NHL hockey.
Yes.
That overtime, the first overtime, did not look like an NHL hockey game. Like everyone was moving way slower. Like, but the Blues had a point blank chance at the beginning of the first overtime. There was a turnover. The Blues turned the puck over. Then there was an errant pass that went to a guy in the Blues right in front of the net. And he shot, and he couldn't get it in. Saved. He didn't miss the net, but he was 5 feet from the net, dead to rights, right on him. And I was rooting for Montgomery.
I can't think of a worse way to lose a Game 7. I mean, we've all seen a lot of playoff hockey.
Toronto could talk to you about that.
That's up there, but Toronto didn't. The Bruins didn't score the tying goal with 1.6 seconds left in regulation.
Yeah, but they did come back by 3. So.
No,
instead of 2. Yeah,
but still, you lose a 3-1 lead with less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah,
that's bad.
And bad execution. You got to fire the coach. That guy's got to go.
Right.
Yeah,
get rid of that.
He couldn't figure out how to win that game.
I tell you, I do not care about the St. Louis Blues. I feel bad for Montgomery, and for that reason, I wanted them to win. But let Winnipeg have it. What else do they have?
Yeah, I thought the same thing as when I saw the stands. I'm like, all right.
God.
That play-by-play guy, if they lose, he has to go back and live in Winnipeg with nothing to do.
Who knows?
And I saw the
so
I saw the shots too of the overflow crowd. I mean, it's like it's all they've got. Let them have it.
Yeah, the overflow crowd and like the sun was out. Like you felt good. Like they got to be in the sun.
It was midnight and the sun was out because they're in Winnipeg.
Yeah, they got to be outside.
endless days of summer up there in the Great White North.
Yeah. So there you go. Sorry for Montgomery, but he did a hell of a coaching job, and heartbreaking way to lose. But listen, they got a Stanley Cup that they shouldn't have won. I mean, they were the far inferior team, and they won one, so you can't feel too bad for the fan base. And Montgomery seems to have a good home there. But the Golden Knights are moved on, so you still have one ex-Bruins coach involved in the playoffs.
Other playoff Game 7 last night in the NBA. We'll get to that one next. And, of course, the Celtics play tonight. So.
And there was a Game 1, and there might be an injury problem going on for someone. So we will have that as well. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub head. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Zone.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and the Celtics start round 2 tonight. There was a Game 7 and a Game 1 yesterday in the NBA, Hardy.
Game 7, Golden State Warriors and Houston. Steph Curry still plays for Golden State, doesn't he?
Comes left, crossover dribble, crossover again, step back, takes a three under duress. It's good! It's good! Curry nails it. And it's 91-74. The Warriors have their largest lead of the game right now.
Sub 17. Oh, but wait a second. They also have Jimmy Butler on the team now.
Butler will spin on Jalen Green, shoots a foul line jumper and buried it. Makes it a 4-point play and a 14-point lead.
And the Golden State Warriors would go on to defeat the Houston Rockets last night to punch their ticket into the next round of the NBA playoffs.
I heard a a guy who covers Golden State on the radio yesterday, and he's like they're going to beat Houston tonight. He's like, and then they're going to get killed by Minnesota. He's like, there's no way they're going to beat Minnesota. That's what he said.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
You mentioned those other two guys. The guy who was really good for Golden State last time was Buddy Hield.
Yes.
9 of 11 from 3 last night. He was. I think he scored 15 of Golden State's first 30. I mean, he got them off to the start they needed. And Draymond had another Draymond play last night. Fred, you see this?
No.
He accidentally pushed Fred Van Vliet to the floor by his throat after Van Vliet knocked the ball.
Well, that was another thing the guy said. He's like, look for Draymond to be extra aggressive.
Draymond, a plus 18 last night, leading the Golden State Warriors in that category, and also added 16 points. So 2 for 8 from three-pointers. Draymond Green attempted 8 three-pointers last night. Good grief. All right, so 103-89, Golden State gets the win. There was a Game 1, as you mentioned last night, between the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Kick to the corner. Turner beat the clock and hit a 3 as the third quarter comes to a close.
Wow, what a finish there. Great job by the Pacers being able to come away with the lead here after that big-time burst by Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs.
Not only would they come away with the lead there, they would hang on to the lead and get the win 121-112.
Did you see this game at all, either of you?
I did. I saw I was watching it while the hockey game was on.
We talked about this with Kendra on Friday, how Cleveland wanted to make a statement and Cleveland was going to blow their doors off. Indiana had the lead for most of the night, and then in the third quarter, Cleveland made a big run. I think it was 20-4, and all of a sudden, Indiana's lead is gone, and they're losing, and the crowd is going absolutely nuts, and it didn't bother them. They came right back and won the game. Indiana not only won this game, I think they're going to be a problem. I don't think Cleveland wins this series in 5. I think Indiana's going to be a big problem for them.
Well, says you.
Yep.
6 players in double figures for the Pacers last night, so they're not just relying on Tyrese Halliburton. They're getting plenty of support. So, yeah, it feels like after that game last night, Cleveland comes away winners. It's going to take 6 games at least. Indiana did not look like a team that caught them off guard and stole one last night. They outplayed them.
And the other problem is, and Fred was talking about this before we went to break, Cleveland's got an injury they're dealing with. Darius Garland, who is an all-star this year for the first time, averages over 20 points a game. He's their starting point guard. He missed last night's game. It's the 3rd straight playoff game he's missed, and he missed Game 1 last night, even though Cleveland had a 6-day break from their previous series. So they're saying maybe he could play Tuesday, but he's got a big toe injury, I think, on his left foot, and couldn't even come out and warm up last night. So
what did I tell you? Too much time off for the Cavaliers.
Yes, you did.
They got too much rest.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as we know, the Celtics will begin. I was certain. I would have said, "Oh yeah, Sunday. They're playing Sunday." I had that to look forward to, and no, it's tonight. They're playing tonight. Celtics, Knicks. Their series begins. It is a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday schedule for the first 3 games.
Drew Holiday in tonight.
Yes. Practice fully over the weekend, according to reports and everyone else. So look for Drew Holiday out there as they get things going at the Garden. What time is tip-off tonight there, Johnny?
7.
Nice.
Early game.
Oh, God. That
Love
just
the early
made
game.
my day.
Yes.
Love that.
7 o'clock.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, when Grandy says the fastest 30 minutes in sports, is that like a dig at the fact that they only get a 30-minute pregame show?
No, I don't think so.
Because I know he's complained about it in the past, and actually I kind of agree, especially when you get to the, to the semifinals and the finals, or the conference finals and then the finals. Like, if you've got an hour's worth, that seems legitimate to ask for some extra time there, but no, just the 30-minute pregame.
Fastest 30 minutes in the NBA.
Okay. All right. So there you go. That's it. That's everything that happened last night. Oh, Scotty Scheffler yesterday had a chance to set the PGA Tour scoring record to get to 32 under par for a 4-round tournament. Instead, he bogeys what looked to be a pretty easy par 3 on the way in. It was, playing like 120 yards or something.
Pot of honey.
He came up a little short. His chip up to the hole came up short. He made bogey there. And then on the par 5 18th hole, needing a birdie once again to set the PGA Tour scoring record, a hole that he had made birdie on twice and eagle once previously in the tournament, made par on the way in. So he only tied the PGA Tour scoring record, 31 under par, to win a tournament at a place, TPC Craig Ranch, where Wallach had once stayed. He actually was on
98.5 the golf club.
Thank you. He was actually on the property once when he was interviewing for a job, but instead they turned him down. He did not get that job.
Did not get the job.
Were you even offered the job?
I was offered the job.
You were offered the job?
I was offered the job. This is 20 years ago. Yes.
Why didn't you take it?
Not a lot of money involved with the job.
How much money?
30 grand, 35 grand.
And it was
how long ago? It was
20
1962.
Was it play-by-play?
No, it was studio work for the Texas Rangers radio network.
Okay. You were too afraid to leave town.
Yes, that's correct.
I understand. Not everyone can do that. All right. Well, look, everyone's having a great time. What a weekend we had. Me and the boys. Friday night, Sunday. What a time. We will review all of that. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say it, but there is more Jordan news. That is just one break's worth. Not a ton, but a little bit of Jordan news. We will have that for you coming up in just a moment.
You're listening to Touch. 98.5, the Sports Hub. The Beasley Media Group station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Playoff basketball is back in Boston tonight as the Celtics welcome the New York Knicks to TD Garden for Game 1 of their best-of-7 second-round playoff series. Drew Holiday is available and ready to go for the Green after missing 3 consecutive playoff games with a sore hamstring. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Last night, Indiana upset the Cavaliers in Cleveland, 121-112. Kenny Atkinson's top-seeded Cavaliers are down 1-0.
We only had 7 turnovers. They just did a good job with their physicality. Their defensive intensity was excellent.
Golden State won a Game 7 in Houston last night as well, 103-89. They'll play Minnesota next. Red Sox are beaten by Minnesota for a second straight day, 5-4 at Fenway Park. Garrett Crochet struggled with his control, but allowed only 1 run in 5 innings before leaving with a 3-1 lead, and the bullpen blew the game again. Sox are 500 now. They continue this homestand tomorrow night against Texas. The NHL's draft lottery is tonight. The Bruins have an 8.5% chance of landing the top selection, and last night St. Louis lost a 4-3 to Winnipeg in double overtime in a Game 7. The Blues led 3-1 with less than 2 minutes to go in regulation and couldn't finish things off. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Celebrate Mother's Day at the Nines and treat Mom to a delicious new menu special like their famous Colossal Lobster or Hot Buttered Lobster Roll. You gotta love the Nines. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Here we go.
Boom. I win. Boom.
Yeah. Hit somebody. Oh.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub. You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the sports.
No.
But nonetheless, he was able to do that. And so he said, I'll pick you up on Friday at your house. And he picked me up on Friday. He drives a car that I forgot to make fun of. He reminded me we went to Buffs. He reminded me when we got to Buffs, he said, oh, now you haven't made fun of the car yet. And I said, I'll have to give it a gander. The only thing I noticed is that he still had to have a place to like hold his phone so he could get directions because there's no screen on that thing.
Well, there's a screen. You got the. I don't know how to do the car play because I've never had a car that had that before.
What do you mean you don't know how you plug it in?
Yeah, but my kid Jacob did it and he showed me how to do it and I immediately forgot how because I have a mental block for some tech things. Some tech things I'm really good at.
You plug it in.
Yeah, but
it
then I gotta.
If it's got it, it should just pop up.
I don't like having that screen in there, man. It's distracting. I don't know how these cars have these big screens in them. It's just very distracting. I can look at my phone and it's over on the side and it's giving me directions. I'm fine with that.
Buttons for the windows to go down on their own. And
yeah.
How you doing with that? You can't crank the thing down.
It's just more stuff. I worry about it, John. It's just more stuff that can break.
More stuff to go wrong. Yeah.
And costs a lot of money when it does.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's a big problem for Adam. He, the leather seats and everything else, that's too much of a hassle.
Yeah.
So he picks me up and we go to dinner and then we get to the show. It's at the Paradise, which I thought was the Middle East.
You thought you were going to Cambridge.
I thought we were going to Cambridge because now, we have to make videos of everything we do. So Adam made a video of us walking down the street.
I liked it. I liked the videos. I watched both of them.
Yeah, it's proof that we actually went out together. So we get to the venue. Adam, of course, knows the doorman and one of the guys there. It does us no good. They just say hello and then it's like nothing happened. I mean, we're just there. No better seating or anything else. They don't walk us anywhere. Adam just knows 2 people that work there.
But there's nowhere to go unless you want to go upstairs.
Yeah. Well, we could have gone upstairs. It would have been nice, but we weren't able to because Adam didn't have any connections. So we get there, and it's one of these places. There's no seats or anything. It's we were estimating it's about 750 people. It was sold out. But when you go to a show now of bands that we like, there are the audience is it's sad. I mean, the audience is sad. It's people my age or older. It's 95% men.
Yeah.
It's, guys there was a guy in front of me dancing.
He had his own koozie with him?
I did not.
He brought a koozie.
It was too depressing to look around.
That guy,
because he wanted
Fred,
to buy one beer and then drink it for 2 hours.
Yeah, which again is lame. I've been stuck behind that guy at 2 shows now. Like
the dancer guy?
The dancer guy, yeah. We didn't talk about that afterwards, but I was like cackling to myself because I'm like, I've seen this guy at shows before. Like he gets absolutely obliterated and dances around.
Yeah, in dancing, Bob Mould, it's song after song after song, and they're fast.
Yeah, it's like a Ramones show. Like it's
like that song he played, "Here We Go Crazy," is like a new song of his, and that's about as slow as it gets,
pretty much.
And so it's real fast, and that's all going on. And Bob Mould, I forgot, is also known as playing very loud. And you're aware of that. It goes like Dinosaur Jr. and then Bob Mould is known for playing loud. Now he's very for his age. He's running around. It's a good band. I didn't know one song until the encore when he played 2 Husker Du songs. Now they were my 2 favorite Husker Du songs, so it was good.
Yeah,
Paper Doll makes no sense at all because I'm a total poser. But so it's very loud, and I haven't been to a show in a long time. So we're walking back, and Adam's making a video again because we have to make videos. And I see when we're leaving the show, I see him take out earplugs. And I said, "Oh, you wore earplugs?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I have a bunch in my car. I should have given you some."
Yeah, I didn't think to give you any.
No, he didn't think to give me any, and he didn't even, and he knew he didn't give me any because I didn't even see him put the earplugs in, and we were together the whole time.
Yeah.
So you put them in on the sneak.
I wear earplugs at every show.
Did you think that I would? Well, it's at the Paradise. It's a hell of an idea. You don't need to at an arena show or like at a stadium show.
I do it every show. You got to protect your hearing, guy.
Well, no.
You can't say guy, too, like you're like a local street tough after you say wear earplugs.
Yeah, and by the way, you have to protect your. Apparently, Fred doesn't have to.
I
because you didn't give me any
I did feel
earplugs.
bad because I had the thought earlier in the evening, and then we just yapped the whole time. So I had the thought
we
as
were
we
like
were
two
coming
old
out.
pens.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, cluck, cluck. But I did have the thought. So I do apologize for that because I meant to offer you
I bought
earplugs.
dinner, by the way.
You did.
Oh,
Thank you
nice.
for that.
Yeah,
There you
because
go.
if I don't, it's almost cruel. And people are coming up to me at Buffs. It's a whole thing.
You should have just asked for two.
Yeah, you were you're kind of the guy there.
Adam got a taste of what it's like to be with a real star.
That's right.
Could you split the check, please? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
can I have a to-go box for this, please?
Yeah, Adam ordered like more food. He was putting in his pockets. He brought Ziploc bags. So
taking the sugars out of the container.
So it was a nice time on Friday.
Yeah, it was.
But then we moved to Sunday. So the way that this whole thing went around is Benjamin, he calls in Benjamin. He goes, Freddie baby.
Yes,
and I go, Benjamin. He calls in a lot. And he had called in. I don't know if you were here the day he called in, but he goes, are you coming to the Woo Sox game? Yeah, against the Toledo Mud Hens, because he thinks I'm a Tiger fan, which I sort of am. And so I was like, sure, yeah, I'll go. Like, I've never been to Polar Park. And then on Friday, when Dan was here, Dan's like, you going to Polar Park? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I might go. If I don't have to go to Celtics practice, I'll go. And he starts talking. And then Dr. Charles, while we're on the air, texts him and goes, hey, would you like to throw out the first pitch? So I said, all right, well, my son plays baseball. Can he throw out the first pitch? And then they're like, why don't you both do it? And I said, fine. That's fine with me. And now, do you want to hear what it sounds like so everyone's very nice. We walk in, we have the passes waiting for us. We walk in, there's a guy waiting for us. He takes us all around. We go to fan services. We have some time to kill. We walk around. I guess so. I don't know why that was happening. Yeah, and then we watch foot fetish videos on our phone. And then they brought us down onto the field, and I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, would you mind taping this? And he was really nice, and he said, sure. And when he taped it, I saw that he had taped us walking out, that he had stopped the tape, and then taped us walking back. He had taped everything but us throwing the ball. But luckily, young Nicholas received the production tape from them. So that's up at Toucher and Hardy and up at Fred Toucher if you'd like to see the first pitch. And the first pitch was kind of non-eventful, but do you want to hear the crowd? When they introduce,
I went nuts.
When they introduce Fred Toucher and his son, do you have that, Adam?
Yeah, I can play that.
Yeah, why don't you play that for the people?
All right, here we go.
And now, to throw a first pitch side by side, we welcome a loving father and son duo.
This is Ben.
First, we welcome the popular co-host of Toucher and Hardy with Rob Hardy-Pool, which airs weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Please welcome Fred Toucher.
All right, stop it if you could.
And we also
hang on. Stop. You got to stop it. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't.
Can you reverse on that or not?
I couldn't hear the organ anymore because the crowd was drowning out the.
You want that whole intro again? Here you go.
Because you can tell it's a fan of the show because he says Rob Hardy Pool, and then I need you.
Toucher.
All right, hang on a second, Adam.
Okay.
You know what, Ryan? Why don't you come in here and put it in my Vox? Is it in the Vox?
It's
Pro?
in Vox
okay.
Pro, yeah.
Yeah. Why was I having you play it?
Yeah.
You can't handle it. All right, here we go. No, well, you can't. All right, so here we go. So Ben knows the show.
Mm-hmm.
I've given Ben no information, and he kind of did Milo dirty a little bit. I'll be honest with you, and I'll explain why. He was being nice, but in the world of high school boys, I don't know how this is going to go over. But so like I had no communication with them about how to introduce us.
Okay.
And I let you know he's a fan because he says featuring Rob Hardy Pool, which I of course wouldn't have put in there at all. I thought he was saying it's Rob Hardy Pool throwing out the first pitch.
Oh.
And then I was going to just airmail it and just say, hey, take that, and have him be on SportsCenter because this would have been on SportsCenter.
And now, to throw a first pitch side by side, we welcome a loving father and son duo. First, we welcome the popular co-host of Toucher and Hardy with Rob Hardy-Pool, which airs weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Please welcome Fred Toucher.
Wow.
Yeah, that is the sound.
And the crowd goes wild.
That is the sound of a crowd not being able to contain themselves. Again, Fred Toucher.
Yeah.
Now, were there a lot of people there at that point? No.
Well, it's early.
Well, it was 5 minutes before first pitch, but nonetheless, not a lot of people there at the time. Late arriving crowd. You know, it's a nice day in Worcester.
Wow.
Yeah. But, a little people can make a lot of noise in the right conditions. And the guy goes, "Can you wave?" Like the guy that was out there, he's like, "Wave to the crowd," and I'm like, "What am I waving to?"
Well, then you do the
Yeah, he does the like
grasping of the hands.
very Three Stooges.
Like I won something.
Like you just won a big wrestling match.
Yeah. And so I do that because no one's cheering, and then he does Milo a little dirty.
You know what it is? It's if you haven't seen it. It's what Ralphie does in A Christmas Story when in his dream when he gets the A on the paper and his classmates hoist him onto their shoulders and he does the hand grasp. Yes, very old timey.
Yeah, that's what I do when I know no one cares. That's the only thing that can give me delight. Like I've won something by no one caring. All right, and then he introduces Milo.
And we also welcome his son, a star pitcher at Lawrence Academy in Groton, Milo Toucher.
All right. Now, if you don't know, now that this is on social media.
Oh, boy.
Like, his team's going to go like, "Oh, you're a big star pitcher, aren't you?" Like, you're a big star pitcher. Like, you don't start the league games. You're a sophomore. What are you, a big star pitcher now? And so Milo was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
Ben was trying to be a nice guy, trying to pump him up a little bit, but there was the backlash. I get it.
And I was like, dude, I didn't tell anyone that you went to Lawrence Academy, and I didn't say that you played baseball. I didn't say any of this. I didn't say anything to anyone. I'm like, and I'm like, you understand he was being nice, and I'm like, your friends have to understand, like, that what's he going to say? He's not going to say, like, "Oh, and here's Fred's son, Milo." Like, and I'm like, because we met Ben, and he was really cool. He's a really nice guy, and he was being nice. But Milo was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." Like, you can't put this on the web. And well, he didn't say you can't put this on the web. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to get crap." And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, we talked about this first pitch. I'm like, I got to put it up. I'm like, here's how you have to explain it to your friends that no one said anything about anything. And that's just the way people are nice. Like, he listens to the show a lot, so he knows that you go to Lawrence Academy. he, you pitched for 11 years. I mean, like I've talked about it on the air. I'm on the air 20 hours a week. I'm like, here we go, and then.
Okay, Fred and Milo, it's time to simultaneously wind up and give us your best Polar Park pitches.
What's that?
That's not an effect. That's not an effect.
What just happened?
Those are frogs.
Peepers.
That are in Worcester. That is the sound, because there's no organ playing. That is ambient noise from outside of the stadium. All right, stop playing stuff, because this is real. This is not crickets that they're playing. Nothing has been added to this audio. Don't. We get it. The Puerto Rico and everything.
I won't play anything.
But this is.
Well, don't play anything.
This is actual audio of the thing.
Great job, Milo and Fred.
I swear to God, there's nothing that they put in there. The crowd is so silent while we throw that this is the noise.
Great job, Milo and Fred.
I don't get it.
Why?
It's not. You're not playing next to a stream.
No, it's in down. It's a beautiful park, and Worcester is a lot nicer than it was.
Yeah,
and,
it's beautiful.
and
but
it's like a city.
How is it
like a small city?
How is
but
the
it's a
sound
city.
of nature that close? You are in essentially a man-made artificial space.
Yeah, that's really
So
strange.
I guess there's like an ambient mic or something that's picking stuff up. But yeah.
Some wetlands past the outfield there. And peepers hanging out.
I mean, you would know.
It's quite nice.
All right, man. Jesus Christ, you can't shut up.
I have a question.
You can't let the people hear the frogs. It's interesting, but you keep jabbering. Don't turn your mic on again, please. How is that even possible?
I don't get it.
Odd.
Great job, Milo and Fred. And we hope you enjoy some father-son bonding time today here at Polar Park.
Ben is doing a very low-level ball busting there.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And did you hear he goes, yes, yes, at the end of it?
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. He goes, yes, yes. Yeah, so he does the yes, yes. Yes. So,
Ben.
So what's funny is that, again, there were a lot of listeners, and they were very nice, and they were coming up because, you're in Worcester, like a lot of people like come up because it's more so than at a Red Sox game. And people were like, were you nervous? And it's like, oh yeah, terrified. I mean, I can tell you how nervous I was when this is... No, I wasn't nervous. The frogs.
There's more people watching you when you're having a catch in the backyard.
Exactly. If I play with Milo in the street, there's more cars driving by making more noise than there was there.
I thought you were nervous, and that's why you tipped your pitch. It was a split-fingered fastball you were trying to throw the guy. I saw you could see it. Yeah, you could see what you're trying. You're trying to send that guy something. It looked like an Ethos pitch.
Yeah, what I was gonna. Yeah, I should have just rifled it down at him.
Yeah,
and acted like a real cool guy. First of all, you're 10 feet from him.
Yeah,
it's funny to me how someone could throw the ball wild. Now that I'm out there, you're 20 feet from the guy. I don't know how you couldn't throw the ball to a guy that's 20 feet away.
Milo had a pretty good pitch. If it was right-handed batter, he's giving a little chin music on Milo's pitch.
Well, Milo wasn't gonna go. If Milo wasn't going to throw hard, that would have been a total dick move.
That'd be great. Spike a curve 5 feet in front of the guy.
No, and also if he's going to throw as hard as he can, he wasn't going to do that. But that video is up. You can see it for yourself. We didn't add any effects. Nature was very, very loud.
Interesting.
Apparently. But thank you to Ben who got this whole ball rolling. Milo really enjoyed it. Everyone was so nice to us. It was a big VIP affair. If you're,
there's, you know what, on that last shot before. Good job not stepping on the
they were
first baseline.
very, 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 very vocal about not stepping on the first baseline.
Well, you both made a point not to step on that first.
Well,
baseline.
the only instruction was don't step on the first baseline, and we were told like several times.
You're going to dislodge a couple of minutes.
No, they had just
chalk.
No, you're not. They just chalked it. They didn't want to step it on it. That's not ridiculous.
Do you remember Sparky Anderson used to always look back after he stepped over the first baseline?
No.
It was like his superstition. I'm sure you can find it online, but he would step over and then he would look back. It was, like a tick or a habit or something, but every single time.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, thank you to everyone with the Worcester Sox. Thanks to Ben, our good friend there, Ben, and everyone else. And thanks to Roach and Dr. Charles and everyone. It was a big highlight. Milo really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but and thank you for letting my son go out there, because it's always more fun when you can do it with your kid, because they're seeing it through eyes that are not jaded and ruined like mine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been backstage at a Saliva show. I mean, this is all just.
Sure.
I saw edema.
Everything's gravy after that.
I saw edema at the Cotton Club. I mean, all right. Let's put it all in perspective. I'd seen Bob Mould on Friday.
Look, I introduced sneaker pimps on stage once. Okay.
Oh.
So anything else? It kind of
it all
loses its appeal.
It all pales in
Sneaker pimps.
comparison. All right. Well, thank you to all of them. That was a lot of fun. All right. Look, there's a little bit of information about Jordan that we have to get to, and we will have that for you in just a moment. become an insider.
This is a guy who owned every room he ever walked into, and now he's got a 24-year-old muse telling him what to do.
Okay. I got two things, one old, one new. One shows this is new Jordan information as Feet First Bill, because he must have come out feet first because something is not right about the man. He was a breech baby.
It's a lot to ask for, but if that nickname could take hold, Feet First.
I've gotten some good responses. And by the way, women and men at the Worcester game all over the place, please keep talking about Belichick. I say, no problem.
Right.
I got this.
But what are the focus groups saying about the nickname Feet First? Is it gaining any traction?
I'm getting some emails because I'm not on social media except for Instagram anymore because Twitter is, I will never look at Twitter again in my life. If there is, but there are people saying calling them Feet First, and we'll see if this happens. All right, I'll just read you this article. So, strangely enough, guys, remember the Super Bowl commercial that featured Ben Affleck and the big star of Succession, the world's hottest show?
Yes.
Bill Belichick, synonymous with the NFL, and, his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, whose mom works at I have a friend who was in Provincetown this weekend who said that they stopped by the sex shop that her mom works at, and they had a flyer up for an F-Fest going on. But and I'm getting lots of reports about where they met and everything else, but it's a lot of fun. And Jordan was not asked by Dunkin' Donuts nor the ad agency to be in the ad. Can you believe it? They thought, on the account of she's not a celebrity or a star of anyone of any note, or not even a model, nor close to it. Can you believe that she got herself in that commercial? It's hard to believe, but this is from page 6 of the New York Post. Sources say that Bill Belichick's younger gal pal, Jordan Hudson, allegedly forced her way into the former Patriots coach starry Dunkin' Donuts commercial, which aired during the Super Bowl, as the new power broker behind the coach. The spot featured her, blah, blah, blah. Sports source familiar with the coach told Page 6 she forced her way in, but Bill saw it as a way to get her paid. People said they've never seen anything like it. Hudson doesn't have any lines in the ad, but pumps her fist along with Affleck at one point. Belichick has a zinger. Earlier in the year, former ESPN reporter Pablo Torre reported that Hudson uses her influence as Belichick's de facto agent to join the 6-time Super Bowl winning coach in the Super Bowl ad for Dunkin'. Hudson is the person who you need to go through to book Bill Belichick for the Super Bowl. We know all of that. So in this case, I've been told reliably is that Jordan happened to use that power to be in the commercial as well, which is very odd. Affleck directed the ad via the company Artist Equity. A rep for the campaign did not immediately comment. Neither did a rep for University of North Carolina, who have to be thrilled they're getting all of this. Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith were in it. This, that, and the third. And Dan Wetzel wrote an article saying that Bill Belichick he loves this controversy, that he lives for this controversy, just like Spygate and Deflategate.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is a little bit different in those that were football things that galvanized his fan base. This just makes him look like a tottering old man. But, gentlemen, is Jordan Hudson the first woman who has gotten money from Bill?
Well, she has to be. I mean, he was married. He was with Linda Holiday for a while. I haven't heard it.
While he was with Linda Holiday.
Oh. What?
Oh.
New York Post, thanks to the listener. New York Post, May 13th, 2007. Oh. Second string sweetie for Bill.
Oh.
A New Jersey woman in the midst of a heated divorce says New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick still gives her piles of money, even while he's dating another blonde divorcee. Sharon Chernoka, 41, testified last week in Superior Court in Morristown that the 55-year-old football guru has FedExed her at least $150,000 in cash.
What?
Paid for lavish vacations, is now renovating a $2.2 million Brooklyn townhouse he bought for her to live with her kids. Shinoka gave no reason for the coach's largesse other than his quote-unquote generosity. Sharon met Bill while they were both working for the New York Giants. He is an assistant coach. She is a receptionist. Neither is still with the organization, but their intense relationship came to light after Shinoka and her husband split last year. But why He finances a fancy lifestyle for Shinoka. A stay-at-home mom remains, quote unquote, a huge mystery at the center of the current custody battle between Shinoka and her husband. One courtroom observer said it's baffling. Vincent Shinoka, a stucco contractor. So this has got Hardy excited.
Yeah, I don't know why she would do that guy.
Do they usually have $2.2 million homes? I don't know.
It depends.
Well, he bought it for her. Has accused his wife of committing adultery with Belichick, a divorced father of 3. Sharon has never admitted the affair, calling her generous pal a family friend. The alleged affair has not come up during a current custody battle, possibly because Shinoka's reached a financial settlement after the divorce. After Sharon confessed in testimony that she lied in denying that Belichick is secretly sending her money and gifts, Vincent dropped the issue of whether Belichick betted his wife. Now in dispute in the custody of the trial is whether Sharon can move her 2 children into Belichick's Park Slope pad and then enroll them in Brooklyn schools. The father wants to keep them in New Jersey. As for paying Belichick rent or expenses, Sharon told the Code, "I've been assured I won't have to worry about it." Belichick has already plunked down. Oh, this is great. Midway through the trial last month, Belichick flew Sharon, her kids, her sister, her brother-in-law, all on a private Marquis jet to Key Biscayne, Florida, and paid for their 9-day stay at the Ritz-Carlton Resort.
Oh, God.
Belichick has already plunked down about $22,000 for her New Jersey Shore rental home this summer, like he did last year, she said. She says she hopes to repay Belichick for his quote-unquote loan someday.
Yeah.
And denied feeling any shame for mooching off of him. I'm fine with it. Yet Sharon acknowledged that Belichick is, as her husband's lawyer, Edward O'Donnell, put it, involved with another woman, Linda Holiday.
Yeah. His actual girlfriend.
How does Linda feel about you living in the Park Slope house? O'Donnell said. We didn't talk about it, Sharon replied. And Belichick did not return a message seeking for comment. So Belichick's not afraid to pay for it, baby.
It's way back in 2007.
And this is a relationship for when he was with the Giants. And this is, I guess, what Felger's been referring to on the off-air show, or maybe during his show that we've. So Belichick started banging her, allegedly, let's just say, if you put the pieces together, let's just say he was having a romantic relationship with a receptionist with the Giants. Let's just say that might be the case. We don't know for a fact, certainly, but it certainly does line up. No one's, a financial settlement was made based on these gifts, so on and so forth. Belichick. Handing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. I mean, it could be millions and millions of dollars to a receptionist. And this is just when he was this is when he was younger than John is right now.
Park Slope ain't cheap.
Well, it was $2.2 million for the townhouse back then. And that's 2000s, that's aughts money. Who knows what that's worth now? So Belichick, I guess, has a history of just going, "Oh, you want to have sex with me?
Yeah.
Take what you want."
I will put cash in a FedEx overnight envelope and send it to you.
Yeah, you need cash? Sure.
All right.
I'll just FedEx that on over to you.
You would have been better off lighting it on fire. What is he doing?
I have a question for you. Ever, while you were dating, have you ever gave a woman a cash?
No.
I can't think of a time I've given a woman $20 in cash.
No.
Like here, go maybe when I was engaged, we were at a casino or something, or maybe
Oh yeah.
But when was have you ever had a girlfriend ask you for money?
No. No,
I haven't, and I'm old and ugly. And I still, no girls are asking me for any money now. I'll buy them a gift. I'll buy them I pay for all the dinners and entertainment. I pay for all that stuff.
Behavior.
A nice gift on their birthday, a nice gift for Valentine's Day, a nice gift for Christmas. I've done all those things. I've been in Christmas time. I got too nervous and spent way too much money.
You just wanted to get out of the store.
I just wanted to get out of the store because I was feeling very intimidated. But believe me, I've been a sucker, but not because of the woman, because of I was too intimidated in the store. But this is not normal behavior. I mean, this is a receptionist, which is a great job. But this isn't a woman. It doesn't sound like this is a woman that that was, extorting money out of him at all. This doesn't sound like a woman that he, some princess or heir to a fortune that he was trying to get into the bloodline.
Behavior of a dumb guy who doesn't know how to socially interact with people, so instead he just hands over money.
Or just a straight desperation.
Well, so you'll like this, Fred. Just to put a bow on it, I got a DM from a woman, Julie. She said, Hardy, I don't have Twitter anymore, but if you see this, my uncle was in the same graduation class as Belichick at Wesleyan. He's a legit dummy. I said, oh, LOL, that's funny. And she goes, no, every time my uncle sees him on TV, he brings up a dumb boy story. It's great. So imagine Julie sitting there with her uncle like, that idiot. You know what else he did when we were there? That dumb idiot jackass.
Again, the best thing that's come out of all of this is, this notion that Bill was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. He's just dumb. So when confronted with having to speak, and we talked about this with a guy from Mass Live who had written an article about this too. If you put the puzzle together, when required to speak, he's smacking those dumb choppers of his and, fipping and falling around because he doesn't know how to answer. So what happens when a rat gets cornered? They get violent. So, you got a cornered rat because he's got to sit there answering your questions. So he's smacking and he doesn't know what to do. So he gets all defensive and mean.
You're standing there at a podium. You can't shove a bunch of cash in a FedEx envelope and send it off. So you got to come up with another way out.
Yeah.
Once you get him outside the film room where he's really comfortable and force him to interact with people and have the sun actually hit his skin, that's when the problems start.
Well, I mean, I don't think that you have to be necessarily super bright to be a good football coach. I don't think that's necessary at all. I think that you can learn a game, but be a real dummy, like a big stupid idiot.
What if you came out feet first? Could you still attain those levels of success in football?
Well, I would say that if you were feet first and there were some problems, that maybe football is the career for you. It sounds like.
Well, now we've solved it. That's it.
We've met guys here we've met players that were big idiots. I mean, guys who played quarterback, they're stupid. Everyone's dumb. It's a big collection of dummies, and we just like the game so much we convince ourselves they're geniuses, but they're just idiots walking around. Maybe this crap isn't that hard.
Morris Claiborne, a 3 on the Wonderlic.
Yeah, I mean,
started quarterback in the NFL for a long time.
How many of these guys came out of LSU? I mean, there's guys in the NFL can't read. I mean, there is. It's sad, but there's guys in the NFL that can't read. I mean, I don't know how hard this all is, but he is. He's just a moron. He's an idiot. It's so fun. It really is. He loves giving cash to women. He loves it. There's nothing he likes more. Oh, would you like a townhouse? Here's $2.2 million. Well, by the way, he wasn't crazy rich back then. He was the defensive coordinator for the Giants in the 90s. I mean, how much do you think he was making? $800,000, $700,000?
Well, it wasn't until he had a few Super Bowls under his belt with the Patriots. He started shoving FedEx envelopes full of cash and sending them down to New Jersey.
All right. Well, anyway, we will be back.
Great.
And we'll take Dan when we come back. Dan, you hold on. I can't take Nate, but we will take Dan. And we'll be right back.
Celtics play the Knicks tonight at TD Garden. It's game 1.
Listen to Toucher and Hardy.
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. By the way, when I had to make videos, at Polar Park where they were very nice, where my son and I were able to throw out the first pitch on Sunday, I was wearing a T-shirt at first, and I had Milo. He didn't want to be in the video, so Milo videoed me talking, and I saw it, and it looked like you could see my breasts in my shirt.
That's why he shot you from above?
Well, no, I had to crouch down, and then I had to go into the apparel store and buy $100 Woo-Sock sweatshirt to cover my disgusting body up.
Did you get the one with the big baseball, that swinging baseball?
Well, you could watch the video at Fred Toucher, John, and you could answer that question yourself. And so,
wow, way to out yourself.
Audio medium, Fred. I was hoping you would describe it on the air.
For not having watched the video.
Why would I have to describe what it looked like? I bought a Worcester Sox sweatshirt. It's unnecessary to the conversation. But I figured I'm under 190. I'm supposed to feel proud of myself, but my body is still disgusting. So I had to literally crouch while I made the video, because if I stood up in the T-shirt, the C cups, I don't know what's going on. Disgusting. That's what I am. Dan, go ahead.
This reminds me of Tiger Woods. They always say he's very socially awkward with women, like with the Michael Jordan thing where he asked Michael Jordan, how do you talk to women? And he's like, dude, you're Tiger Woods. It seems like that. Like, you never get good at talking to women, and all of a sudden he has all this success and all this money. And they say he's very busy, so I think he's just, I'll pay for stuff. And it gets him out of those awkward conversations with women and gets him relationships and all this stuff. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's terrified. And if someone's willing to take his money and stay with him, he's probably like, this is great. And he's just stupid, and it's great. Don't stop talking about it, Freddie.
Thank you. But there's again, there's levels of paying for things. There's liking the receptionist at your office and then taking her to dinner and, buying her flowers or like jewelry, or if you're a rich guy buying her, like, again, there's a bunch of stuff, dude. But then there's buying someone a $2.2 million place. And at that time, he wasn't like making $10-20 million a year. I mean, at that time, he probably wasn't making $1 million a year. I mean, and he had 3 kids and had gone through a divorce. I mean, money, $2.2 million is a lot of money at that point. That's real money, baby.
How does this? Well, it's not just real money; it's over the top insane. How does no one in Belichick's circle, regardless of who he is or where he is in life, not step in and go, "Okay, Bill, this is nuts."
We've seen the circle is incredibly small, and it shrunk as time went on. And they walk around like Mike Lombardi, kissing his ass and saying that he can do no wrong. They're not doing him any favors. Like, they're really not. If you have a friend who's just always telling you how great you are, that's not really a friend at all. That's just an enabler.
It's a hanger-on.
It's an enabler. It's essentially, being friends with a heroin addict that's life is out of control, and giving him needles and just going, oh yeah. Hey, I'm thinking about buying like a kilo and dealing some of it and keeping some of it myself. What do you think? That's felony weight. What do you think? Go ahead. Why not?
Sounds like fine. If it makes you happy.
Yeah, if it makes you happy. I mean, sure you might OD or you might go to jail for 30 years, but why not? I'm thinking about moving some real weight. I'm not so concerned I'm going to tap so much into it as I am going to sell it.
Who am I to say no to that?
Yeah, if you don't get high on your own supply, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I got all these middlemen. I'm thinking of going right to the Colombians. I'm like, what do you think about that? Oh, yeah, sure. Go right for it. Why not?
You've always been smart with the business.
Right. You'll make more money that way.
You got a lot of business sense. And I think you have the discipline to not go through it too quickly. All right. Well, look. We could every day there's something new, and it's a lot of fun, but there's other things to discuss. By the way, Keith Lockhart from the Pops is coming in at 9 o'clock, and there will be a performance from John, Adam, and Nicholas. They all have instruments, and Lockhart is going to. We'll see how important the conductor is. He will conduct them.
Do we have the conductor's score? Do we have the sheet music for him so that he can see all your parts at once and conduct you properly?
He's not going to need that.
But we do have sheet music, though.
Yes, we do
Everyone
have
has
sheet
sheet
music,
music.
yes.
Good.
Everyone does have sheet
That's
music.
right.
Perfect.
And so Lockhart is going to conduct them, and we'll see just how important. Adam swears conductors are important.
Okay.
But we will see. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Touch.
brought to us by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people.
Studios. The 18-time world champion Boston Celtics are looking for number 19.
Tatum pulling out.
Hear every playoff game right here. Your home for Boston Celtics basketball. WBC FM and HD1 Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics and New York Knicks play Game 1 of their second-round Eastern Conference playoff series tonight at TD Garden. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Celtics have listed everyone on the active roster as available, and that includes Drew Holiday, who missed a portion of the first round with a strained hamstring. Last night, Indiana upset the top-seeded Cavaliers in Cleveland, 121-112 in Game 1 of that second-round series. And Steve Kerr got 33 points from Buddy Hield as Golden State won a Game 7 in Houston, 103-89.
Buddy Hield, I don't know what to say. I mean, that was really incredible watching him light it up in that first half especially, and then down the stretch as well. But
they'll face Minnesota next. As for the Red Sox, they're back at 500 this morning after the bullpen blew another one at Fenway Park yesterday. Garrett Whitlock allowed 2 runs in the 7th inning and Justin Slayton 2 more in the 8th of a 5-4 loss to Minnesota. The next game is against Texas at Fenway tomorrow night. Tristan Casas also underwent successful patellar tendon surgery yesterday, and the Chicago White Sox have designated Bobby Dahlbeck for assignment. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts' leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clog drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
New England plays here.
Down the right side, there's a separation. Yeah. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
A lot of food.
Oh my God.
The food, the good food that I had.
Oh.
Super.
Oh, Adam, we got a email. We were wrong.
Okay.
From Ben, a guy Ben. He said that we said girls like status is from Separation Sunday. It is from Boys and Girls in America.
Ah.
The whole study.
Thank you, Ben.
So my bad on that. But nonetheless, that's a good album too, Boys and Girls in America. I like Separation Sunday better, but they're both fantastic albums. As is the third in that trilogy.
Yeah.
Stay Positive is a great record. All right, so why are we playing this? Well, first of all, subscribe to the show at 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And second of all, Joe is also live on YouTube when you subscribe to that. Joe is on at night. He is all over YouTube because every time I listen to him, I listen to Joe a lot. Every time I listen to him, he's out there. He's talking to the people on YouTube. He's doing this, that, and the third. Now, he's not going to be on Aloud tonight because the game's at 7, but he'll do post-game. He'll be on for the entire post-game.
Yep.
But Joe loves food. There's no doubt about it. He loves wrestling and food. He loves cards. He's got some side hustle with that card store that's right there by Gillette, or not Gillette, by the Garden. He's got all kinds of side businesses going on. He's doing his own sales. He's got everything. But he has an intern now.
Oh, it's zesty.
He's got an intern now that he's fallen quite fond of.
Oh, he's in lockstep with this kid.
Yeah, they're 2 peas in a pod now. This kid is not as he's a big guy, not like I'm not saying he's overweight. He's just a big dude. He talks like he's like Italian. I don't know if he's Italian or not, but he certainly talks like it. He wants you to at least think he's Italian. Let's just put it that way. He wants it to be known. He's got like a Saturday Night Fever, Vinny Barbarino thing. I think he wants that out there. Not to put too fine a point on it, but that's kind of what he's going for. But
we have a very intimate relationship, Fred.
Yeah, we do. I love Joe. I love Joe so much. Joe sends us great stuff for the show. And now, what is this, Ryan? This is post pizza tasting? All right, so Joe made a video of them tasting pizza. Whatever, it was fine.
No, don't worry about it. Hey, let's do this.
But they went in and they made a video of them tasting pizza, and it's just the intern tasting pizza. It is what it is. Look,
I like pie.
Dave Portnoy's made an empire out of tasting pizzas, so who am I to judge? But this is the reflection after the taping. This is the minor on-air stuff. This is just the show.
This is the afterglow.
Yeah, they're smoking a
the
cigarette.
pizza
They've wiped up everything. They've cleaned up everything.
Yes!
Everything is in, they're smoking cigarettes, and now they're talking about the meal.
Right.
All right, so this is Joe and this new intern of his that he seems to like. I'm getting word. I've never heard the kid on the air, but I'm getting word from everyone. Our great listeners that email and contribute so much. They said you got to check out his relationship with his intern. So I'm interested in hearing it. Here we go.
Street Team Joe in the house, everybody. Street Team
Joe in the house, everybody. He is angling for that stripper DJ job. We got Amber in the house, ladies and gentlemen. We got April Sunshine in the house, everybody.
Street Team Joe in the house, everybody. Street Team Joe. Joe Ariano is his name, but we don't call him that. How's the pizza?
It was delicious.
Did you hear that exhale?
Yeah.
How's the pizza? Pizza. Like it needs to be said.
How's the pizza?
It was delicious.
I liked the angry pie.
And what was in that again?
I feel like it was linguiça.
Yeah.
Because bar pie, out that way, it seems like.
The crust was super crispy. And well done pizza. You can tell they took their time cooking that. The worst thing is an underdone pizza, Joe. Absolute worst thing.
Out.
Yeah, I mean, we've as a culture we've vilified a lot of things, but have we paid enough attention to an undercooked pizza? How many times have you gotten a pizza and you're just like, they didn't even cook this thing?
Out.
This thing is just, it's wet dough. They forgot to put it in the oven. What the hell's going on? This pizza, it's way over undercooked. Send it back. I wanted it medium rare. You brought it to me just dough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just eggs and flour sitting on a thing.
Cold cheese.
Yeah, it's just shredded cheese, eggs, and a flour. You deconstructed it. It's a deconstructed pizza. It's a scrambled egg, fried dough, and a piece of pepperoni and some mozzarella. I bet you a restaurant's done that. I bet you anything a restaurant's done a deconstructed pizza. About 10, 15 years ago.
The worst thing is an underdone pizza, Joe. Absolute worst thing.
Out. I like a good undercarriage that you can scrape.
All right.
I like a good undercarriage that you can scrape.
He calls it an undercarriage.
Well, that's the key to getting that undercarriage clean. You just scrape it and exfoliate it.
Well, I mean, we saw from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you got to have a toe knife. So who knows what else you need. I like just whatever with he says undercarriage in the implications of that, but I do like that he calls the bottom of the pizza an undercarriage,
right? Because
he's thinking automatically about carrying it. Like this is how I'm going to get this to point A to point B to point C, which is my gullet.
How do you scrape it? I don't scrape it with what?
Your tongue.
No.
It's like in Oz when Schillinger asked Beecher to clean his boots with his tongue.
Yeah. There's no other reason to scrape it, is there?
By the way, Oz keeps popping up on my YouTube, and it depresses me so much that I'm like, but I can't stop clicking on it.
It's not a feel good.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's just so awful. It's just the worst.
That's hell.
Yeah, and I think that actually makes prison look a lot worse than it really is. There is a lot of turning guys out there. To my understanding, prison is not so much. And if it's supposed to be this paradise, why do they let Beecher get up in women's makeup and sing at a talent show? And why is there a talent show at the prison? All right.
That was perfect.
It's too bad. It's too bad. Adam and I went on our date already. I don't need to do it.
I like a good undercarriage that you can scrape. I don't know if I ever told you this, but one night I wanted to make a General Gao pizza. Did the whole
There's that deep breath again.
Okay.
This is his TED Talk.
All right. The General Gao pizza was first proposed by Robbie Roadsteamer circa 2006 WBCN.
Now, this would contain no cheese?
This would be essentially a pizza with, your standard undercarriage, your cheese, but with General Gao's chicken on top. And you would do a drizzle of that same sauce on top of the pizza and over the chicken.
See, what you would have to do is you would have the dough, then you would have to put the sauce as the sauce. And then I guess you would put cheese, but that sounds unappetizing. You could just put the sauce and the General Gao's chicken on top and then have it be cheese-free.
I don't even know if you would do a tomato sauce with it.
No, that's what I'm saying is you
yeah.
wouldn't. You would use the General Gao's sauce as a... And around here, not spicy.
Yeah.
It's not so great in the Boston area.
This actually got traction, and there was a place down that Jim Louth talked about, a place down where he is in Rhode Island, that was a combo Chinese restaurant pizza joint, which T-Bone asked what is it called, Papa Gino's? What is it?
Yeah.
How does this place work? But they had the General Gao's chicken pizza.
It's a Pizza Hut Taco Bell situation.
Sure.
I understand. The combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell.
Did the whole thing. I went to Market Basket. I got dough. I made a whole dough pizza. I went to Kowloon.
A whole dough pizza, not half-assing it. A whole dough pizza.
It's all in. Other people are putting additions on their house. They're adding a half bath on the ground floor. Me, I went to Wegmans. I bought dough. It was the whole production.
And as another side piece of information, I went out to dinner with a couple guys last night. One guy, Jordan, outbid him for a property in Dorchester. And he had an idea for the property, which he does to the properties in Dorchester to make them much more valuable, and she's not doing that.
No.
His idea was to get as many people into the property as possible and rent it out. And Jordan is not doing.
What is she doing? Are you just using it as a shoe closet?
I don't know what she's doing with it, but he was he was bidding on the property apparently, and she outbid him. And that's what he does for a living.
Ordered a General Gao chicken, and I poured all the sauce I took all the chicken out.
I'd be in on that.
And poured the sauce all over it. And then I put cheese on it, and then I cut the General Gao's on top and baked it. There's a video somewhere out there.
Yeah. It's getting traded on the black market. If you can get access to the dark web, if you got a lot of crypto, you could probably get your hands on it.
I was going to say it exists now only as an NFT.
Yeah, someone dies at the end, so there is that. It's become notorious.
It's a combo General Gao's pizza making snuff film.
Yeah, Dahmer's in it. It was made. It had more than General Gao's on it. It had human brain.
It's in some billionaire's vault. I believe someone from the DuPont family now owns it.
Or perhaps Belichick gave money to a woman to buy it. It's also with the birth of him, where you can see his feet come out.
And I ate it, and right away it was good. I'm my number one cooking.
Good story.
I ate it right away. No.
You ate it right away.
You made a pizza and ate it. Oh no.
I let it. I gave it to 24 hours to let it simmer.
Well, yeah, age it like beef.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you can't just take a steak out and put it right on.
Well, you don't do General Gao's pizza and have it fresh out of the oven. You age it for 22 days like at Peter Luger's.
It's dry aged, exactly.
Yeah. Is breakfast.
Yeah. You can get trichinosis. What is it when you don't get salami? You don't let it dry out.
Trichinosis. Did you hear that over the weekend? The replay?
I did hear
heard that too.
That's exactly how I got it. The Sal thing. Yeah, that's exactly what I heard.
3 people died, according to Sal, which I don't believe.
I don't believe any one of those stories. I think they were just trying to get on the air.
You were describing to me those breakfast sandwiches that you would make. You still making those?
So you know what's funny? Look, can I test
any of this?
I can't wait.
This is just two guys. This is a street teamer and him just talking about.
That's where Skaz needs to wave through the window and say, "Hey, we're on the air."
No, this is why Joe's show is great. This is exactly why Joe's show is great.
Look, can I test you on one?
Yeah.
I made I like to use wraps now, like tortilla wraps, tortilla wraps. I call it tortilla.
Yeah, it's like when my father went and Oh, Jesus. Oh, fajitas. My father,
Oh.
as a man in his 70s, said fajitas. A man who's traveled the world.
Can't decide between the quesadilla and the fajita.
Well, I told you the quesadilla phenomenon is when I worked at the sports bar in downtown Atlanta. There was a barbecue chicken quesadilla, which is a real mind bender for some people. And I'd bring it out, and they'd say, "This is one I ordered." And I'd say, "Yes, you didn't understand what quesadilla meant. You just saw barbecue chicken, and that's what you wanted. You didn't realize it came in a." The quesadilla was ignored because you didn't know that what it was.
You just you stopped after the first 2 words on the menu.
Now I have to send it back to the kitchen, which is a bunch of people on work release, literally, who are just going to scream and yell at me as if I did something.
So what I do is I'll make a scrambled egg. So I'll put three eggs in a thing, whisk it up, let it cook, and then
you gotta let it cook.
And then I'll find probably a sausage, a link or a patty, whatever. Cheese.
Find one laying around the
All
house.
in one, make it like a
you gotta. You know what? I'll go up to my bedroom. I'll open up the nightstand drawer. I'll find a sausage. Could be a link. Could be a patty.
Hey, Bird, would you go through the cushions of the couch and see if you can't find yourself a sausage? I know I got one. So check that. Yeah. I got an old chest of drawers.
My sunglasses, my keys. I know I had a sausage around here.
Yeah.
Let me look. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Got my 3 scrambled eggs. All right. I found the sausage. Now what?
All in one, make it like it's an omelet, you know? So then what I would do is I would take a tortilla. If it's a big tortilla, I'll fold it, and then what I'll do is I'll get real cheese. I'll put the tortilla on the cheese and wrap the cheese on the outside and cut it.
None of that fake like play school cheese that comes with the
real
kid's
stuff.
kitchen. I'll get the real cheese.
No,
you understand?
it's made from milk and everything. Like it's dairy product.
Yeah, it's quite a spectacular couple of sentences right there.
I don't just draw. Yeah, I don't take out crayons and draw cheese on a piece of paper and put that on it.
On a tortilla.
Right. So what you've made is a breakfast burrito, Joe. They've been around for a while.
So it's like an inside out omelet.
Okay. So the
wrap.
cheese is on that outside?
Yes, and the inside.
Oh, look at him playing along, trying to make friends.
Oh, you see, now I know what he's doing. Okay, now I'm back. Now I'm in.
Yeah. Now he's
outside.
Yeah.
Like that's not how he talks.
Outside. Out.
Like, be my friend.
So the
Wrap.
cheese is on that outside?
Yes, and the inside.
Okay.
So it's an inside out wrap.
No, you took scrambled eggs and sausage and put it into tortilla and then put cheese on top.
But what kind of cheese?
Real cheese.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, Joe. That's why Joe's show is the best. Because Joe's out there, but now he's got like a partner in crime.
Mm-hmm.
The cheese is on that outside.
And then he talked about the banana pudding.
Banana. All right. Well, look, we will be back. Ty Anderson will join us. Why Ty Anderson? Well, first of all, what a heartbreak for Jim Montgomery last night. But what he's done with that Blues team is something else. But the draft lottery is going to be on television tonight. The NHL is actually broadcasting it.
Is it on Pluto?
I'm sure it will be a world-class affair because anytime they try to copy something from another sport, it's always like ghetto as hell. But the NHL is
Matisyahu will sing the national anthem.
Exactly.
St. Louis.
That's right.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, in a representative from every team is going to be that's in the lottery is going to be present.
Okay.
So they're doing it like they used to. Remember when the Elgin Baylor from the Clippers used to be at every single draft lottery?
Yes.
Because Sterling didn't want to mix with races, so he wouldn't bother showing up.
Well, they get Norm Macdonald out to those NHL things too because he's Canadian, right?
No.
Where's he from?
He's from Canada, but I don't think he ever did that. They always get...
Norm used to go to the NHL things, and he would go up there and try and do some jokes, and they didn't go great.
Oh, because I just know that it's Michael J. Fox is a big fan, and Tom Hanks' son.
Okay.
Those are two guys. And the skinny kid from the Apatow movies that's become a good director. He's
McLovin?
Canadian. No, not McLovin, the other one. He was in Undeclared, that kid. Oh. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
More.
The guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
Quick shot, deflected in front. They score! Cole Perfetti with a deflection. 1.6 seconds left. In the third period, the Jets have tied it up at 3. Holy smokes! 1.6 seconds left. And Winnipeg has tied it at 3.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. That was a heartbreaker for Jim Montgomery's St. Louis Blues last night. They had a 3-1 lead with 2 minutes left. Winnipeg obviously has pulled the goalie. They score a goal. Then there's a tie-up on the boards. It looks like time's going to run out. Puck gets loose. Shot tipped in with less than 2 seconds left, as you just heard. Goes to the first overtime, no score. Then I went to bed. But I'll tell you, it's been said a million times, and it's just kind of an obvious thing, but maybe you're more prone to watch playoff basketball that doesn't involve the team that you root for because, there's star players that, you can see shine, like, Steph Curry's playing or Anthony Edwards or something. But even if I bet on the Blues to win. But even if you don't have a horse in the race, the third end of that third period, those overtimes, I mean, it's almost impossible to turn off. It was very difficult for me to turn it off after the first overtime. And the first thing I did when I woke up was to check the score.
Yeah.
But those 2 minutes seemed like infinity because in the St. Louis was just not doing themselves any favors. They were. I'm telling you, they'd get the puck around the blue line, and then they would just rifle it down. They wouldn't try to kill any time. You could see Montgomery getting agitated on the bench, but I think Montgomery proved himself pretty well this year and recovered nicely from being fired by the Boston Bruins. But their other Cassidy, their other ex-coach, there's number 1 seed of Las Vegas Golden Knights continue as they will play tomorrow against the Oilers. All right, Ty Anderson. He hosts the hockey show Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. He covers the Bruins for the Sports Hub. Reads all his stuff at 985thesportshub.com. Hello, Ty.
Hey, good morning. What's going on?
What's up? So Jim Montgomery, I think this season, even though that game ended in heartbreaking fashion, he showed himself well. He did a good job for a guy who just got fired.
Yeah. It's an expected bounce back for him, I guess, in the regular season. He's still going to prove himself in the postseason. It feels like he kind of gets, I don't know, deer in the headlights is the right term, but they could have used a timeout last night. They could have used a timeout in the third period when it looks like the walls are caving in on them. They were outshot tremendously over the final, the overtimes in the third period. And yeah, sure, like Winnipeg chasing the game had something to do with that, but you got to do something, right? Like Winnipeg they're down to 5D.
Yeah, but maybe that's why you don't call timeout, is because they're down to 5D, and you're and you have the advantage there, and you're trying to wear. There were defensemen after the first overtime been on the ice, close to 40 minutes.
Fred made the point that when you watch college hockey, it's a much slower game than the National Hockey League, but that's what it looked like in overtime.
Yeah, the first I didn't see the second overtime, but Ty, the first overtime, it was funny because everyone was moving slow. Like you could tell fatigue had been setting in. And maybe you're right. I mean, maybe there was something Montgomery could have done. I mean, the Blues had a chance to win in that first overtime. There's a point from a shot 5 feet point blank range that they can't get in, but. Maybe Montgomery. Go ahead.
I just think that Binnington was making a ton of saves.
Yeah.
In that overtime, and he's clearly proven that he's one of the best pressure goalies in the sport. Whether you like him or not, whether you think he's overrated or not, when the pressure's on, he's been phenomenal, right? And so I think at a certain point you got to do something to try to get your team going, to try to create some more offense. And I just kind of kept waiting for that moment, okay, what's he going to do here? Is he going to adjust? What's going to happen? And just didn't feel like it happened. And so that's something that, yes, Montgomery recovered well in terms of getting them there. They should have made the playoffs. They're not a great team, I understand. But in that moment, Game 7, that I kept waiting for an adjustment there versus simply thinking that you're going to win because the Jets are missing Scheifele and Josh Morrissey and out of gas, so to speak. So I that's my only complaint about Jim Montgomery in that Game 7.
All right. Well, certainly, I'm sure Blues fans aren't happy, but look, they got that cup. They already won a cup with a vastly inferior team than the one they were playing in the finals. So I don't feel so bad for St. Louis. Now they can not go to the Cardinal games, and that will all eat itself because they need Gate to get players, and when they don't get Gate because they're not winning, they can't get players, and it will just keep repeating itself.
Yeah.
All right, Ty. All right, so the draft lottery is tonight. Where are the Bruins? What are the chances? Where could they land? Can you take us through the machinations?
Yeah, so they entered tonight with the fifth best odds of winning the number 1 overall pick. But don't get too excited. It's under 9% in terms of that winning number 1. I believe it's about 8.5%. They could also move up to number 2 at 8.5%. It's very unlikely that they will get 3 or 4 because if somebody moves up, then whoever has 1 or 2 will move down. So 1, 2, 5, 6, or 7. That's basically what you're looking at tonight. They could drop down 2 spots. They cannot drop down more than 2 spots, though. So they will be picking 7th overall at the absolute worst. Obviously, you hope you remain in that top 5. There's less uncertainty, so to speak. There's less potentially reaching for somebody that you might not be in love with. If you're at 5 or if you're 1 or 2, it's very easy. But you don't want to get to 7 because 7 can be a little weird depending on how the board falls. You might be in a weird spot there. So they got a decent chance. They would have had slightly better odds had they not earned a point in the final game of the regular season, which is very annoying. But here we are for the Boston Bruins.
Well, look, it could be the Patriots where they had a quarterback who's not even on the team anymore, could try go crazy, and they could have rebuilt the organization in one offseason. Yes, John.
What is the depth? I assume the Bruins are looking to draft a forward or a center here, and this high in the first round. What does the depth of that look like this year?
Well, it all depends what kind of player you're looking for, right? Like, because I think they're going to go center. So you have Michael Misa, you have James Higgins from BC, you have Anton Frendel, you have Caleb Denoye. So you have some guys there. You have Roger McQueen, who is injured. Like, I would probably try to get a center. James Higgins is a guy that most people around here are going to know because he played at BC. I would not draft him if I'm the Bruins, if only because I don't think the Bruins would know how to properly develop that kind of guy. He's
Why?
5'10". He's 5'10". He's 175 pounds. He's a center. And every time the Bruins draft a small speed skill guy, they spend years trying to make them not a small speed skill guy. So just stop drafting that kind of guy. If you don't believe you can make that player work, then stop drafting that kind of player. And the other part of it, Fred, is like, tell me who the best top line, contending center who's under 6 feet tall. Like, there's not many of them. Jack Hughes is probably the best example of that, but he's not somebody that I think is, overly impressive in terms of winning in the playoffs. He had a miserable tournament, the Four Nations face-off. I understand that's a very small sample size, but he's the kind of player that if he's not scoring, he's not making an impact. And the Bruins, for better or worse, will stress the two-way game. So get a bigger center who can compete in the two-way game. And so that's where I land with this pick. Get a center. I love Anton Frendel. If they can get him, I'm very happy with that. I even love Caleb Denoye because he competes. He's a guy that kind of projects as if he hits his ceiling, he's more like Sean Couturier, I'll take Sean Couturier on the Boston Bruins. And I think the Boston Bruins would take Sean Couturier. I just think, like, they're not going to change their philosophy. That they are who they are, right? And so if they believe that way, draft a player that fits that versus drafting someone who doesn't fit that and then wasting a whole bunch of time trying to make that player something that they are not.
Okay, does this draft have like a can't miss stud in it? Like, if they were to somehow get the number 1 pick, is there a guy that could change the future of the franchise?
Yeah, change the franchise might be strong, but Michael Misa is probably the closest thing you're going to get to like a sure thing. Just an electric scorer. I think he had like 60 goals in 60 games in the OHL. a sure thing in terms of a scorer. People say that Porter Martone is also a pretty good guy, like pretty good, can't miss kind of guy. He's a 6'3" winger. He plays a bit like a Brady Tkachuk. Now, those players can sometimes be boom or bust at the NHL level, but people like his results and think he can, be a high impact player. But I would say that the closest thing to like a sure thing in this draft, up front, would be Michael Misa. On the back end, Matthew Schaefer is supposed to go first overall. He is a very productive defenseman. Could be, but I don't know if the Bruins need another defenseman. I think they need a forward, namely a center, more than the defenseman.
You draft for need over best player available.
I mean, I would, because if you're the Bruins, like, you kind of keep hitching your wagon to the idea of a center becoming available and you signing or acquiring them. And so far, that has led to Elias Lindholm. Like, Barkov didn't hit the market. Draisaitl didn't hit the market. Crosby didn't even hit the market. So now, do you want to cling to the idea that Jack Eichel's going to leave Vegas, next summer? Like, you could, but I don't think it's a sure thing. And you're kind of proving that you can't hitch your wagon to that. So the only way to get a top-line center is through the draft, in my opinion. And, the fifth overall pick or the first overall pick, like, I don't see a better scenario in which you're going to acquire that kind of player.
Ty, do you think this draft is more important than any other for Don Sweeney? Like, is there any reason to believe that his job is in actual jeopardy and that he needs to pay extra special attention this time around?
Well, I think the simplest way to break it down, Hardy, is like he is being given a second chance at 2015. If you look at 2015, like, they were set up to be like loaded. You got 3 first-round picks, you had 3 second-round picks, you had an extra first-round pick in 2016. Like, you had draft capital out the wazoo, and you blew it. You made terrible picks. I don't think you have anybody to show for what you had in 2015 with those 6 picks in the top 60. And so that's a problem. He nailed the deadline, in my opinion. I thought Don Sweeney had a great deadline.
Yeah.
But now comes the hard part. You got to make the picks. You got to pick the right players. You got to rebuild the pipeline, and you got to, like, this is a potential draft that could, to your point, completely reshape the trajectory of the franchise long term. It's just, you got to nail the picks. And there are some guys here too, like, they have 2 second-round picks, and I wouldn't be surprised if they try to parlay one of those picks and maybe a player on their roster to move up. If there's a player they really like at the end of the first round or early second round, there's a lot solid right shot D that could be had here if you're the Boston Bruins.
Okay. One last question. Your audio got a little weird there, but I want to ask you one last question.
I know. I saw it on the mic. It said my mic switched for some reason. Sorry about that.
You're right back. No problem. What do you buy Cam Neely's that Sweeney got the job too close to that draft where they had the 3 picks in a row and that's why he screwed it up?
Buy it? No. I will say that as an assistant GM, your job is not scouting. Like, your job is the day-to-day operations of the Providence Bruins. And so he was not involved in a lot of these scouting things and whatnot. And he was never, and people keep saying he was director of scouting. He was never director of scouting. That was not his job title. He never had that job title. I don't know where that came from. Yes, he worked in player development in terms of, like, on ice at back then it was Rastusha during their development camps, but he was never the director of scouting for the Boston Bruins. So I will say that is his excuse. Like, you were the AGM, which worked in Providence, not in Boston, not in amateur scouting. At the same time, though, you're the team president, Cam. You can overrule your new GM and say, hey, hold on, let's go to the table here. So why didn't you? I think the 2015, like, there's no sense in the Bruins relitigating the 2015 draft. It was a disaster. It was not great. And at the same time, I do think that us as fans, as media, as whatever, we got to let it go. It ain't changing. No one is bringing any new information or rationale to any of the topics. Like, Cam Neely talked about the 2015 draft like 4 years ago now. I don't know why he reopened that can of worms. And yes, the drafting has been poor. And I think that Cam got kind of suckered into the narrative in that argument, that little spat with Dupes, because like he focuses on 2015. Their drafting has been poor beyond 2015. Like 2016, they take Trent Frederick, who's a third liner. 2019, they take Johnny Beecher, who's a fourth liner. Like their drafting issues go beyond just 2015, right? And so they have a 3-year window, Fred. I believe it's from, I want to say 2017 to 2019, where they have nothing outside of Jeremy Swayman. And Jacob Lauko. They have nothing to show for their drafting, which is just brutal. And that's what undid Chiarelli by the end. The Bruins had a 3-year window there where they got just nothing out of any of their draft picks, and that's what ultimately led to the Bruins' demise and led to Peter Chiarelli being fired in 2015. And so, like I said earlier, guys, like they're going to get a chance to redo 2015. They got to nail it this time, though. You got to get at least, I think, 2 or 3 high-impact players out of these next couple of drafts if you're the Boston Bruins.
All right. Well, listen, Ty Anderson, great job. We look forward to hearing the reporting as this lottery comes through. And maybe Hardy can stop this incessant gross sneezing like an animal over there.
Sneezed one time.
Is it pollen?
I think
Who
it is.
knows?
Yeah. Thank you.
There's no pollen in here. It doesn't seem to affecting Wallach and I. We're right as rain. But who knows what he's got going on over there with all those things in front of him that he's always sucking on.
Raining outside, too.
Keep
the pollen level
cacophony
down.
of chemicals over here.
All right, Ty, thank you so much. Everyone read him on 985thesportshub.com. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. We'll be back in just one moment.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics will welcome the New York Knicks to TD Garden tonight for Game 1 of their best-of-7 second-round playoff series. Drew Holiday is available and ready to go for the green. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and a tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Red Sox are beaten by Minnesota for a second straight day, 5-4 at Fenway Park. Twins got 2 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th to rally for the win. Sox are back at 500. They're off tonight. They'll host Texas tomorrow evening. And as we were just talking about, the NHL draft lottery is tonight. The Bruins have an 8.5% chance of landing the top selection. They are currently in the 5th position. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenheiser Home Services. Rodenheiser has some unbeatable deals on electrical and plumbing safety checks, new water heaters, and brand new AC systems as well. Check them out at Rodenheiser.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
chemistry and his solo projects and whatever else. I thought if they had stayed together, it would have been great.
When I lived in Atlanta, he was on the tram at the Hartsfield Airport every single time I was at the airport.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I saw Morris Day, maybe no exaggeration, 7 times at the Hartsfield Airport. The man traveled. There's no question about it.
Fred, I was at the movies yesterday, and I thought of you because I know you're a big moviegoer.
I've seen 2 in the last 2 weeks.
Okay. So I was playing golf yesterday morning. I get done playing golf. I'm sitting down and ready to have lunch. I get a text from my wife. She says, Calvin wants to go see Thunderbolts at 1:20. Period.
All right.
End of sentence. Now, you know what this means. She wants me to take him.
Right.
Right? And look, I'm no dummy. And I'm just getting ready to order lunch, right? We're going to sit there. We're going to have, the after. We're going to talk about the round that we just played.
You're in the afterglow. You're still basking in the afterglow.
I said, okay. I said, good. Yeah, I'll take them. You want to buy the tickets? I'll go. Now, I'm already planning on taking a nap during the movie. I said, fine. Instead of sitting here having lunch, going home, taking a nap, I'll just leave right away. I'll skip lunch. I'll grab something. I'll snack on popcorn. I'll nap in the movie theater. But I ask Calvin as I get home, shower real quick, and we're going to go. I'm like, what are we seeing? What is this? Thunderbolts. What is it? He was like, well, it's a Marvel thing. It's like it's a superhero thing. I'm like, hold on. I said, do I need to have seen 10 other movies to know what's going on? No, he says. You'll be fine. We sit down, and as I feared, the movie begins essentially mid-sentence. Is that you might as well walk into like a tax hearing in the middle of it to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Who are you? Why are you shooting them? What's going on?
Yeah.
This is how every movie is now. You can't go to a movie. You got to see 10 movies and then also know the little inside stuff that wasn't in any of these other movies to really get a full understanding and appreciation of what's going on. But the thing that bothered me, Fred, was that it was a 3D movie in one of these big theaters. And guess what you don't have in a big theater in a 3D movie? No reclining seat. So now I'm sitting upright. I've had it very loud. Oh, it's a very loud movie. I got the 3D glasses on.
Maybe Adam could have given you earplugs that he didn't give me.
Now, was I able to nap through it? Yes, because that is my superpower. As I'm watching other superpowers up on the screen, I can nap anywhere.
Now, would that bother Calvin that you're not ingesting the movie with him?
Yeah, he tried to wake me up twice.
Yeah.
During the movie. Dad,
Yeah.
wake up. I'm like, what? Sleeping.
Well, when Zoe and I were going strong last year, like going to the movies, like almost every weekend, we saw Deadpool Wolverine, and it's supposed to be funny, but it's references to like comic book stuff, and who knows what's going on. So I'm at a point now where I will see almost any movie that is not, but I won't see superhero movies. That's over for me. Yeah, we saw that dumb accountant movie. I saw that.
Well, you
Accountant
didn't.
movie.
You didn't see it. You didn't see the first one. It's like watching Home Alone 2 without seeing the first one. You're lost. You have no idea what's going on.
I saw The Amateur, which was fine. The Amateur, that was a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
That had a beginning, middle, and end.
No,
I didn't have to know any of the self-referencing stuff.
All I know is Julia Louis-Dreyfus is on screen, and apparently I'm supposed to know who she is, and she runs some kind of thing.
She used to date Jerry.
Yeah,
now they're just friends.
But other than that, she's one of the main people in this movie, and apparently head of some superhero group.
Peterman.
I'm like, she's and her cast of fighting that she's got the former military guy.
Well,
she's got
listen,
the close talker.
You didn't get it because the movie was in reverse. They start at the wedding in India, and then that's why it confused you.
Holy crap! Does that annoy me? Just can you tell me a story without telling me 10 other stories? You can't do it.
Yeah, you have to be like they've good for them. They've created this universe that apparently millions and millions of people are aware of.
And there's no end to it. You can go back. You could go forward.
when
There's
someone
multiple
dies, it doesn't matter.
universes.
That's when you
There's-
get to the multiverse, which I think is just lazy. That's just lazy storytelling.
The whole fighting with like computer fighting, like that, it's just that CGI fighting, like that's not like Jackie Chan fighting is cool because like everyone's like really like flipping around and stuff. Like people are getting hurt.
Nah,
They're really like jumping off buildings and everything. This stuff's just computers. I saw my son still has it. I framed like Father's Day cards and we saw the Flash and like my son wrote the Flash sucks on it. We saw the Flash and it's like he's not even on Earth or in space. He's just in like he runs fast and ends up in some like pixel world.
Yeah.
And they're fighting like I'm supposed to be invested in this fight where no
time
one's
doesn't
really
exist.
fighting.
Time is going backwards. I know because my son took me to that movie too. They go backwards and forwards. All of a sudden, Michael Keaton is in it as Batman.
And
It's
then
weird.
people like flip out. So he goes back in time, and Michael Keaton is like making breakfast. And people are like clapping like audibly. And like Michael Keaton used to do stand up in Los Angeles. He was a stand up comedian. He's been on a lot of bad sitcoms.
I saw that movie when the people were losing their minds. I'm like, oh, shut up.
Yeah, like Michael Keaton's a
Stop
guy.
it.
Like, he exists. He was in the fake gangster movie
Johnny
Dangerously.
Dangerously. That was a
Like,
good movie.
did you clap it when he was on Johnny Dangerously?
No, but I did clap when he showed up on the screen in Night Shift. I was there in the theater, 1981. I'm like, there he is.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Chuck, that guy's dead. You're welcome.
Well, you weren't used to seeing Fonzie. As,
I know.
Not being Fonzie.
Fonzie is a nerd in that movie. That's right. And Shelley Long is a hooker, if I remember right.
Yeah, Shelley Long did something to convince.
Please, John.
Shelley Long did something to someone along the way that just went, I'm attractive. Because Sam Malone, that's what you want?
Yeah.
I mean,
She was a challenge, Fred. That's what she was.
Well, I'll tell you, she's not the most attractive woman in the world.
No.
That's for sure. No. All right. Well, look, we've talked enough. Keith Lockhart.
The maestro is here.
Yes, from the Boston Symphony Orchestra, and we have our own orchestra that he will conduct.
Does he know about this?
He does, and they're excited about it, actually.
Okay. All right, good.
What does he want to sit there and just and talk about he's got something to do. It's going to make it much easier.
I do have things to talk to him about in addition to the performance.
Because I've read The Night Before Christmas on stage during the season.
That's right.
You know, I go every year, and one time I was up there.
I've never been asked.
Wasted, just stumbling through. I fell off the stage. It was a real thing. I was like Morrison at the end. The audience was aghast. The kids were like, "Who's this drunk? He's swearing and telling horrible jokes. He's not even reading the script. This is blasphemous, is what it is." When I was up there. No, I'm just kidding. It was actually went fine. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening
at TD Garden. The team announced yesterday everyone's available to play, and that includes Drew Holiday. He missed the final 3 games of their first-round win over Orlando with a strained hamstring. Grandy and Max had the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The winner of this series plays the winner of Cleveland and Indiana. The Pacers pulled a big upset last night, beating the top-seeded Cavaliers 121-112 in Game 1. Out west, Golden State took Game 7 in Houston 103-89. The Red Sox bullpen blew another lead yesterday. The result was another loss, 5-4 to Minnesota at Fenway Park. As a result, the Sox are back at 500 for the season. They'll have tonight off. They'll play Texas tomorrow night at Fenway. The NHL's draft lottery is tonight. The Bruins have an 8.5% chance of landing the top selection. Also, St. Louis took a brutal Game 7 loss last night. They were up 3-1 with less than 2 minutes left in regulation, and they lost to Winnipeg 4-3 in double overtime. And the White House is reportedly expected to announce sometime today the 2027 NFL Draft will be held in Washington, D.C. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the DeMoore McKim School of Business at Northeastern University. You'll prepare to lead with impact through transformative experiences. Learn more at their weekly admissions event. Save your spot at northeastern.edu/business events. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Boston plays here.
Coming through the slot. Close shot. Save. Rebound. Score.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your
Got
day.
your finger on the pulse, Fred.
Begin your
Seldom
day
right and never wrong.
right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
I know, looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Do us all a favor and subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. It's what the company wants very badly. And Keith Lockhart, who, of course, is the head honcho conductor of the Boston Pops. You can buy tickets to all the Boston Pops events, which I will talk about at length later, at bostonpops.org. But he's wearing a Red Sox shirt today. He was talking about how he threw the first pitch out at Fenway Park. And just to make him jealous, I'm going to play this from yesterday. When I threw out with my son the first pitch at the Woo Sox game. Now, I want to say this for my son's benefit. No one wrote anything about the introductions. Ben, who does the announcements, is a fan of the show. Milo did not say star pitcher. That's not part of it. He's not a star. Let's put that out there. I'm doing that for his benefit, but here we go. He pitches at Lawrence Academy. He's not like some star, but here we go.
And now, to throw a first pitch side by side, we welcome a loving father and son duo. First, we welcome the popular co-host of Toucher and Hardy with Rob Hardy-Poole, which airs weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Please welcome Fred Toucher.
That happened. Did you hear the crowd? Yeah, it's almost deafening. And listen, you'll hear more.
And we also welcome his son, a star pitcher at Lawrence Academy in Groton, Milo Toucher. Okay, Fred and Milo, it's time to simultaneously wind up and give us your best Polar Park pitches.
We didn't manipulate that audio. That's just nature. It's so quiet in there that it's literally just nature.
It's beautiful in Worcester this time.
And it's not 10:30 in the morning, mind you. This is 5 minutes before the game is starting. The Woo Sox, they had a big crowd, and but just the disinterest in me and my son is almost incredible.
Great job, Milo and Fred. And we hope you enjoy some father-son bonding time today here at Polar Park. Yes, yes.
And he gives the yes, which is a pervert character I do. You're not interested in that, Keith. All right, Keith Lockhart is here.
Thank you, Fred.
The Boston Pops. I go every year to the holiday Pops. It's a tradition. I even go with my ex-wife. My ex-wife and I go with the children to the Boston Pops. It's such a part of our lives ever since the 16th one was this last year. They have a whole situation coming. They have you have guest stars coming. I know Hardy's going to Jaws in concert, which is May 9th and 10th.
Yep.
Tickets are on sale now to all these things. They have some Jerry Garcia nonsense. That's happening June 3rd and 4th.
We probably need to ask you about that.
That's the biggest seller of. any
Is it
of them.
really?
Of course it is, because it's a bunch of people with time on their hands. It's bostonpops.org to get all these tickets. Now, Hardy, you're John's excited. See, what's happening is Keith, we wanted you to come in and we wanted you to have something to do. And thank you for coming in a day early to do it. We appreciate it. Because we have a big contest tomorrow. I'm going to break down what's going to happen, and then I know a lot of people are excited to meet you. Okay, so Adam 12, Adam, who's over there, he plays trombone. He's like a dork, but he played trombone. He got a scholarship to Northeastern to play trombone. So he wants to impress you today. John was first or second chair?
First chair in high school.
First chair
in high school.
Clarinet in high school at Natick. That's not a small school.
Lexington.
Lexington's still not a small
But he
school.
would have been a Natick, too. So.
Oh, he really could have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
He was one of these kids, they wanted him at Juilliard, but he wanted to keep it local. Like he's one of these like hockey players that keeps playing for the town.
Right.
And then we have Nick, who's just a moron. So what will happen is the three of them will be playing, and you will conduct that. But because we want to see what a conductor actually does. Because I see you but you're not playing anything. You do your leg kicks, you're talking.
Yeah.
But what are you doing with your hands is what we got to find out.
This will resolve that question.
Yes. Well, if they don't play well, it's on you. It's entirely your fault.
And I guess, Keith, the whole point of it is they're going to play a special selection for you because you're celebrating your 30th year as the conductor.
30
of the Pops.
years.
That's unbelievable.
Believe it or not.
Yes.
And he was a young man because we were given a CD, his first CD that came out, and there's a young Keith Lockhart wearing a suit top, but then shorts in Converse All-Stars, and he's just running around. His legs are bare.
You know how they did this album, by the way? This is the Runnin' Wild album with looks like I'm flying through the air, running. They put me on one of those exercise trampolines, the little ones, and I bounced up and down for like an hour and a half while they shot this thing.
It's amazing how quickly they get those things done.
I couldn't make this anymore.
Yeah, it's fascinating how long it takes them to get that. And then at the end, you're like, what? Like, what? That took you that long to get me to do
then
that?
They'd stop and do makeup because they say, well, you're sweating. I'd say, well, really?
Yeah, I've been working out an hour and a half. Isn't that odd? All right. So, Hardy, now you, as we get into the summer months, was this the gift? The Jaws situation?
Well, no. My wife wanted to surprise me with something, and Jaws is my favorite movie. So
my wife's too.
Okay, so great taste. My wife wanted to do a trip down the vineyard for the 50th anniversary of Jaws, which coincides with your 30th anniversary with the Pops. But beyond that, our mutual friend, Dr. John Mandelman from the aquarium, he texts me. He's like, "Hey,
you're friends with the guy who runs the aquarium?
You are? Oh well, he doesn't run it, but he is.
He runs the science side of the aquarium.
He's
Charge
pretty.
of the seals?
He's a pretty
What
big
does he
deal.
do?
He's a pretty big deal.
Now, how did you meet this gentleman?
We were neighbors in Roslindale.
Of course you were.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It just you seem to have a lot of good acquaintances that are
Little
in different.
chin wag over garbage day. I mean, how do you?
I mean, it's funny because when he's with Missoula, coach of the Celtics, he's dropping chess champions names because he knows Missoula likes him. So he gets Keith Lockhart in here. He's like our mutual acquaintance.
Well, yes, because up till last March, my wife worked for John Mendelman. So this is, and plus they're both of their favorite movies,
Right.
So we go way back, apparently.
But what my point is, Hardy has found in just the brief moment you were in here before we went on the air, commonality.
High-cultured individuals find common ground quite easily, Fred. I don't know how else to explain it to you. It's a position you'll never achieve.
We run in the same exalted circles.
That's
well,
right.
Al Goldstein, my mutual friend who ran Screw Magazine for so many years. Was anything you knew, Al? No, I guess not.
But John said, we got a table for this thing. And the only thing, Keith, the only thing that I've attended before like this was a long time ago, maybe the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, Fred. Does that sound like a thing that existed?
Well, they have one, yes.
Yeah, they have one. Kid Rock gave a bunch of money to it, and that's not a lie. He did some big performance for them.
They accompanied a bunch of Looney Tunes shorts one night at the Meadowbrook Music Festival. But that was like 30, 40 years ago I went to that. So John said, hey, do you want to go see the Boston Pops playing along with the movie Jaws? And I said, Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. So you're doing it Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday this week, yeah.
How much do you have to rehearse something like that as opposed to a normal Pops performance?
Well, we did the world premiere of Jaws film live with orchestra about I think 15 years ago or so.
Okay.
And so this one is a second time around, which makes it a little bit easier. It's really hard because it's reverse engineering something. Movies, you might guess, are not made by making the entire movie and then playing the music to it. They're done a little bit at a time and edited together. So it's a whole lot harder when all of a sudden you have to mush all this stuff into a continual live play. But they're fun. They're fun to do. They're kind of like a video game for conductor and orchestra. Conductor hero. You know?
So are you watching the screen as much as you're watching the orchestra and trying to keep an eye on both?
I'm actually watching a monitor screen in front of me that has basically points that I need to hit. So if I hit those points, I'm staying on track. And some of it is also, when the shark comes out of the water at Roy Scheider at the end of the stern of the boat there.
Alert.
Yeah. You need to. For anybody who hasn't seen,
if you haven't seen Jaws, everyone, if you were planning to go see the Boston Pops and see Jaws for the first time, careful. I mean, you're treading on sacred ground.
The shark dies.
Oh, come on, man.
All right. Well,
how are we doing?
Address these complaints to the Boston Pops at the bostonpops.org.
What do you think of John Williams as a composer? Did he know what he was doing? Is it as you look at the score now and you rehearse the orchestra to get ready, you're like, oh, this is a lot better, or this isn't so tough.
He's an amazing composer and has developed as an amazing. This is an early John score. I mean, he's been writing for film scores for 65 years, but this is one of the first ones that anybody knew. And he went on. This is before Star Wars. It's before Harry Potter. It's before Indiana Jones. It's incredible what he adds to something. Spielberg had this wonderful thing that he used to do where he would just play parts of Jaws without the music. And he said, and everybody just thinks it looks like a silly mechanical shark.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
You put the music in, and everybody freaks out.
And all of a sudden it becomes everyone's favorite movie of all time.
Exactly.
It's funny. I took a class on that actually in college, which I thought I was just going to blow off, and it was fascinating actually how much the music makes. So on the other side of that, so you're doing the Jaws in concert, which is you're a great composer's music. You're syncopating it with now as a relief, do you do the Jerry Garcia Symphonic Celebration? Do you just have them tune on stage for like 45 minutes? How do you do that?
Everybody plays whatever they want for 25
do you
minutes.
play Three Blind Mice and jam out for 2 hours? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, and then I stick the entire orchestra in a VW bus.
Exactly. All right, because the audience is completely out of it. So do you not have to try as hard? How does that whole thing work?
I have to tell you that we've done a lot of Jerry Garcia tributes over the years, and one with Warren Haynes from the Allman Brothers Band, and we did it out at Tanglewood for a huge crowd. And let's just put it this way: you couldn't see the crowd because of the cloud.
Yeah. It's all these guys that are now working at hedge funds. It's how they cut loose.
We did some composer music talk last week. Are you familiar with Terrence Howard, the actor and now a pseudoscientist? He was going on and on about musicians tuning to 432 hertz. The
432.
Do you know about this?
Well, that's really, really low. We tuned to 441, which is like even Fred could tell the difference.
Well, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Yeah, that's right.
Key of A.
Yeah, he says it's the universal tone. It's at what the earth resonates at, or something like this.
Been talking to Kyrie Irving again, huh?
The man knows his stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, look, there's a host of big events happening this spring with the Boston Pops. You can go to bostonpops.org. Keith Lockhart, 30 years there. Nas is going to be at Tanglewood this year. Adam is really wants me to say. Disney Frozen, if you have kids, that's got to be a big thing too. There's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of good stuff going.
Cosmos, the Frozen one. Music in the Cosmos with George Takei from Star Trek and Sonny Williams, our own hero astronaut.
George Takei, is he going to now? Does he narrate?
He's narrating a primer about Star Trek with music from all the different.
Oh, that
series.
is. He's got that voice on him too.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Here's the deal. If Keith, I've done it before, but if you could get me to read The Night Before Christmas this holiday season and not invite Adam, it would frustrate him very much. And it would be a great.
Why you got to
delight
be
me.
mean, man?
Because that's your dream.
It literally.
Can
Yes.
I play the two of you off of each other?
Yes.
And then invite me to do
Fight
it
to the death.
Or maybe you can let Adam up on stage, but not let him read.
And I've never done it. And if you want to get like the frisbee golf crowd in there, for the holiday season, I'm available.
And we run in the same circles. So.
Right.
I mean,
There you
obviously.
go.
I mean,
There you
listen.
go.
I mean, Keith Lockhart has to. They'll have these big, these big affairs where they're raising money and things like that. And Keith Lockhart is an A-lister guest in the area. And there's Hardy out there, shaking hands and kissing babies.
You never know.
You got common ground with everyone.
You
buddy.
never know who you're talking to.
The trade worker on the street,
sure,
to the conductor of the Boston Pops.
Well,
you got something with all of them.
What can I say? We're gonna hang out after the show on Saturday.
You play golf, Keith?
Don't actually.
Oh,
this is a problem.
I thought there was tennis.
A purist.
My knees aren't that bad.
Looking down on that sport, you've made an immediate friend in me, my friend. That's fantastic.
Oh, I just didn't know you were an athlete conductor.
All right. Well, he has to. He's running all around during those holiday ones. All right. So look, the band will assemble. This will be on YouTube. I'm sure it will break the internet. It was, but anyway.
So we're doing this next.
Yeah, but the thing to keep your eye on is Adam, because John gets nervous, and I don't know why, because John hasn't played the clarinet in what,
since the last time he was in here.
So high school, so 60 years ago.
I have to say, he was practicing in one of the studios across.
Yeah, and he was mortified that you saw him practice. It's so funny to me.
I was actually greatly relieved to see him practicing.
No, but that's great. But isn't it funny that we all know he doesn't play clarinet anymore, but he's still like nervous playing in front of you.
It's very cool.
And Nick,
I love it.
It's great. I mean, you're very impressive.
Yeah.
People are very impressed by you. And
Conductor of the Boston Pops.
And Nick has just got a snare drum in front of him, and it will be interesting to see how he manages to mess that up.
Nick's been practicing with his drumsticks here in the control room this morning.
It's challenge by choice. It's like me throwing the first pitch out yesterday. I said, at what year am I going to stop because I can no longer make it over the plate?
Isn't it funny that he's at the same day that he's throwing the first pitch at Fenway?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the AAA affiliate doing the same. If that doesn't speak at our station in life.
They'll call you up someday.
Yeah.
So
well, Adam's done it twice, so that he's got me on that.
Tech caught me.
Yeah, who caught you?
A guy that wasn't wearing a catcher's mitt and was in street clothes. Someone from the PR department that's looking to get called up too. I mean, a fan of the show introduced me. He said yes at the end. I mean, it was a real family affair, Keith.
He's got Jason Varitek catching up for the opening pitch.
Isn't it so funny that the same day? I've been here since 2006.
Yeah, you're nothing.
I'm not. I really am.
Nothing compared to Keith
You get to
Lockhart,
30
you're nothing.
years, you get Tech catching you.
2006.
Yeah.
I've been here since
So,
2006.
I've been here since before it started,
Yeah.
2003, 2004. I was there in the walk-off, And
Yeah, so, yeah, you were-
2004.
you were- yeah.
So, hey, that's why.
Yeah.
That's for no other reason. That.
Also, I'm older.
Yes.
And I was thrilled to do it for the Woo Sox. I was like excited. I mean, I wasn't nervous, but I was certainly excited. And then he has come up in here and one-up me. Well, listen, if that's the way you want to play it, Keith, that's the way we can put it.
Do you need a conductor's score for the for this performance?
I think I'll muddle through.
Okay.
All right, very good. All right, so we'll see how this whole exercise goes when we come back. We'll be right back.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Keith Lockhart is celebrating his 30 years with the Boston Pops. They got a big spring schedule coming out, including Jaws in concert, Star Wars, Story in Music, Disney's Frozen in concert. They got some Jerry Garcia thing that they're obviously just chucking up there on June 3rd and 4th. You can go to bostonpops.org to check that out. Everyone loves the Boston Pops. And so the situation is this. Keith has been nice enough to hang around. Keith threw out the first pitch at the Red Sox game to Jason Varitek yesterday. I threw out the first pitch at the Woo Sox game to a guy from the PR department. With every victory comes a little humble pie.
There's a study in contrast going on now.
Absolutely. Well, and there will be a study in contrast here. So, Keith, people off. In all seriousness, no sarcasm. Do people go, what does a conductor do? That's a question that a lot of people, I'm sure, would have.
They do say that. And it's a valid question because from the audience's perspective, well, they tend to go one of two ways. They either think that the orchestra couldn't play without anybody up there. They'd be frozen. Then it would be silent. Or they think that if the conductor was hit by a bolt of lightning, it wouldn't make any difference. And the truth is, what a conductor does is helps people hear each other. We got a trio right here. They can probably hear each other just fine. But you got 100 people, 200 people on stage. They're not all going to be able to play by just listening and locking in.
Because they don't
source of information.
That's
a serious answer.
No, I know, and I want to hear it. Do they have monitors or anything that they can hear? Like I know bands use in-ear monitors. Do they have anything like that?
We use monitors for things like when when Cynthia Erivo joins us to open, we'll have monitors to the rhythm section, which is up stage in the back, because that keeps the time lock between them good. And then basically when I have that, I keep the rest of the orchestra with them.
And I actually do have another serious question because Boston Pops is that's like as high as you can go as a musician in this style of music.
These are some of the best orchestral players in the world.
Right. Okay. So what is the audition? First of all, how often does this slot come up for a musician? Are you actively looking for someone?
Maybe there are probably, of course, our sister organization, the Boston Symphony and the Boston Pops, that largely share the same player pool. There are probably maybe an average of 5 openings a year.
Okay, what is the audition? I actually fascinated by this because it's something that you see kids developing these skills and the amount of practice it takes. What's the audition process like to get one of those seats?
Well, first off, you have to be invited to the audition, which involves hundreds of people for a violin job. For instance, sending in used to be tapes, now is YouTube videos of them playing, plus some sort of a resume that shows a pretty significant professional background. People who get invited come in. They are listened to behind a screen, and even to the point these days to try to assure impartiality, there are carpets on the floor so you can't tell by the walk whether the person is male or female.
Wow.
To a committee that involves people representing all the sections of the orchestra, usually weighted toward the section you're hiring, with the music director, which in this case is not me, but it has been me in other situations, Andres Nelson's, making the final decision as to who he wants to join the ensemble.
And there's people from all over the world that I would imagine coming for these auditions.
Yes, and so everybody who makes it there probably is representative of 1,000 people who didn't.
I would think, because we've talked about this before, out of the tens of thousands of kids playing high school sports with designs of being a professional athlete, it's probably akin to the tens of thousands of kids who play instruments and think one day I want to do this for a living. And once you get it narrowed down to the professional sports leagues or to places playing for either the BSO or the Boston Pops,
it is very similar.
It gets down to that
in terms of the funneling sort of thing. But the thing is too, just like with sports in high school, the advantages are not about people shouldn't be putting their kids in sports or music thinking, well, this is how they're going to earn their living, because we know what the chances are realistically of that. But there are so many advantages to what you learn playing on a team, learning how to take an ability and take it somewhere. I think they really have a lot in common.
Yeah, it's and there's a ton of advantages for kids to learn how to play instruments and all of the rest. All right, so leading into that.
On that note,
and on that note, all right. So here's what we got here and why it's interesting to me. Obviously, this is not going to sound good. Okay. But
that's almost the idea, isn't it?
No,
Oh.
no. That's not the idea because I want them trying. I do not want this to be deliberately bad. Now, as I said, Adam played trombone. He got a scholarship to Northeastern, which I'm sure is not the greatest program, Keith, but nonetheless, he got a scholarship to Northeastern to play the trombone.
Nonetheless, a real school. So
yeah. But I'm not. How many kids from Northeastern you got playing for the Pops?
Oh, right, none.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Bentley University. There's not a lot of kids from the football team in the NFL. Well, Berkeley is for people that work at Guitar Center. All right, so you are playing trombone, and now, so he's supposed to be good. In all seriousness, he actively plays trombone. He's in bands and everything else. Okay, John is a who's shaking. Are you shaking? Okay, he gets so nervous around you. But John, okay, whatever. I thought you were. John played clarinet years and years and years ago in high school, but he was good enough to play clarinet for a first chair in a high school.
He was the first clarinet in Lexington.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I knew that.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have Nick, who's just a guy. And all he has to do is keep a beat on a snare drum, which is easy. So what you'll be listening for as an audience, trombone should be pretty good. Should be good. The clarinet's going to be off because he hasn't played in a while, but he's going to try. And then the beat should be very easy. And so that's what we're looking for. Now, Keith, at the end, I want you to give your opinion of the performance, the individual musicians. What tune are we playing today? I see sheet music.
Yes. We're playing a selection from the William Tell Overture.
Of Gioacchino Rossini.
That was used by the Flintstones.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So this is Happy Anniversary. Happy Anniversary. Happy Anniversary. He says you have a clip of Happy Anniversary.
All right, just so we all know what we're supposed to be hearing here.
Okay, this is what we're supposed to be hearing.
Oh, okay, I got you.
All right,
all right, thank you.
The Monday page. Here we have it. Here we go. This is what he's supposed to be playing.
And I have to have it up in there, Ryan. If we're ready to go, you can just turn that on.
Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
All right, that's what it's supposed to sound like.
And which immediately,
without the lyrics, of course.
The three of us all knew it was from the Flintstones. That's what we had it from the Flintstones. Okay, so you are going to play this. Keith is going to conduct. And then at the end, we will get a review of Keith, of you as a whole, and then you as individual players.
Okay.
Maestro.
That sounds potentially humiliating. This is my debut with the SHSO, the Sports Hub Symphony Orchestra. And, I've conducted a lot of places, so this is, it's a rare thing. Let me ask you, do you think we can take the Barney Rubble tempo?
No.
I didn't think so either. I'm kind of thinking ba-da-dum, 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 dum, dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da. We're going to do it in a la breve. Do you know what that means? That's in 2 as opposed to 4. I could go ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum.
Even Adam didn't
2,
know.
3, 4. But you do 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be that's too much work for me to do this early in the morning.
Okay.
But we'll do it in 2, which is lazy man style. And normally we use a silent method of communication, but I'm going to kick it off verbally because I think it's safer in this situation. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum 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 ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba 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 bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba. Big ending.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow, that was okay. Now, could you hear all the instruments, Keith? Could you hear them? Does your ear pick up how the different
Yes, the
instruments?
nuances were all there. Yes.
Okay, because I had trouble hearing the clarinet.
Well,
I had trouble with that also.
The problem with this particular ensemble is trombone is louder than
everything.
It's a very arrogant instrument.
Louder than whatever you would put after it.
In terms of the difficulty
and
of
also the clarinetist could have played it up an octave possibly, but
I found up an octave would have blown everybody's eardrum out.
Oh.
Practicing the other
All right, that was the octaves were considered. Where would you put trombone in difficulty of playing as instruments go?
Well, let's see. Every instrument is difficult to play well.
Right.
And trombone, because you see there are no buttons to push, it can either play very, very in tune. It can be the most in tune instrument because you can adjust every single note, or it can be the most out of tune instrument too. It's kind of like violin. Also, there are no frets on a violin fingerboard, so therefore you have to hear everything that you're playing. And I'd say it's pretty credible. I would have given them a scholarship to Northeastern too.
Okay, because a lot of ska bands have only trombone players because it's easy. But okay, so how would you rate the trombone playing? Was he made one mistake? I heard.
Really?
I heard one mistake.
Only one.
Wow. You should be a conductor.
No.
That's all we do is
No, it was just such an obvious mistake. I heard it. But how did they sound as a whole?
I think, what we really needed was rhythmic solidity, and the trombone really provided that anchor. Normally, the drums would provide that anchor.
So you could tell Adam was the best musician.
Did you? You could tell he was the most experienced musician.
Okay, you could. All right, so that's got to be.
I wouldn't say best is so judgmental.
All right, fair enough. All right, but you could tell. So out of the three of them, Adam played the best.
Yes, I think that's clear, and I think they would probably agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, and then so the clarinet didn't. Could you hear it, Keith?
Yes.
Okay, how was that? Because I couldn't hear it.
That was, clarinet is a hard instrument to retire on and bring it back every 10 years or so. So I think even the fact that he wet a reed and stuck it on the mouthpiece is an act of courage.
Right, so he did bad. All right, so but that's expected but now let's get to the drums. The drums, he played on the rim of the drum so he wouldn't overwhelm the rest of the guys.
Well, it was subtle. I mean, relatively subtle.
Yeah, but that was super easy what he was supposed to do. How did he do?
Well, I would say, what you need to look at is the arc of the performance, and it started out really well together. Did you notice that? That was partly because I went 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, bum, bum, bum. But then entropy came into the picture, and they started slowly to drift apart.
Oh, yes.
That was because they were getting concerned about their own individual parts and not listening to the whole. So entropy happens to all of us. In the world's greatest orchestra, everything starts out really tight, and then if people aren't paying attention, it begins to drift apart. We just had a really kind of basic example of it.
Yeah, and the drummer's job is to hold that together, kind of, and he was way off.
But he's kind of out of his league.
Yeah, no, I would say so. He's out of his league in most situations. Keith, let's not.
I shudder to think what it sounded like had you not been here to lead them. Because the count in and
better.
No, but
maybe they would have been forced to
it was
listen.
interesting because you could hear you talking to Adam and that you adjusted the tempo of it to their skill set. You knew to count them in. There was a bunch of things that even we as lay people could understand that you do. It was actually a nice exercise. Yeah. It showed us what you.
If we did it again, I was going to have you guys sing along and sing "Happy Anniversary."
I wish we had time.
I only do it at the style of the Flintstones. Yeah. All right, look, the spring season, May 8th to June 7th, kicks off the year-long celebration of Keith Lockhart's 30th anniversary as the Boston Pops conductor. Tickets are on sale now. They're doing the Jaws, Star Wars. They're doing the John Williams stuff, Jerry Garcia, all these things. You can go to bostonpops.org. That's bostonpops.org. Keith, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You are welcome. Thanks, guys. Great to talk to you.
All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and...
How many people call him that? Seriously.
Me.
12, other than you.
Now, were you happy the way that he rated your performance?
Oh, absolutely. And I was actually more impressed. Well, I shouldn't say more impressed, but I was as impressed with you, Fred, who you like to undersell your musical knowledge. But the fact that you picked up on the mistake that I'd made and that you were kind of listening to the mix and able to kind of get a good conversation going with Keith Lockhart after the performance, I was impressed by, too.
Oh, you impressed Adam.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I did. I was listening intently for you to make a mistake. That's what I was doing.
I delivered.
We have an email here from Sarah, of course, who said right at the end of the SHSO, as Keith Lockhart dubbed you guys, Sports Hub Symphony Orchestra, Wallach sounds like the Puerto Rican frog. So yeah, I believe there was a clarinet squeak.
Oh, there
that
was.
Sounded like the coqui.
That was absolutely a clarinet squeak.
I couldn't. I was at the end. I could hear you a little bit. I could barely hear it.
He's right, though. Usually I would have played a higher octave, but I tried that last night, and I realized quickly that I didn't have the wind for it. It's easier to play in a lower register. So that's why I was down low instead of a pi like I should have been.
Okay. Do we have anything for... There was one thing you said you were saving for the stack earlier. Do you remember what it was?
Nope.
Yep. There's been a lot today. There's been a lot.
I really can't remember what it was. Do you remember what it was?
Yes, David Lee Roth.
Oh!
We were going to do David Lee Roth here.
Oh, thank you, John. You
Okay.
do remember. You were the best contributor to Slack, so that you're the best. When you're not here, there's nothing up.
Okay, so I got multiple emails and links on social media about this. So David Lee Roth in a performance where a lot of people are goofing on him for this. Now, I want you guys to listen to it.
Can I just say this? He's on the road. He's playing with like a band that's been around, but it's not Bissonette and Sheehan and Vi. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Eddie Trunk's been talking about it.
Oh.
Is he going to do stuff from Skyscraper now? Because instead of two guitars, he has a keyboard player. There's a lot of things that Eddie Trunk says are worth to investigate when it comes to David Lee Roth in this tour. Because we want to hear Skyscraper, because we want to hear just like Paradise and things of that nature if we pay our money to see him.
First full live show in nearly 4 years. He had announced his retirement, but he's back for the M3 Rock Festival, and this is one of the clips that's been going around online. And it sounds like this if you turn me up.
All right. Okay. That's the best he sounded in 20 years.
Yeah.
And he's 70 years old. He's first of all, he's got the lyrics. He's in the right tempo. Is he hitting all the notes? No. Does he have four guys behind him to sing the higher parts? Yeah. So what? You're not going there for a great musical performance. You're going there to see David Lee Roth. And if he can get up on stage and kind of do it, he can kind of do it.
Listen to Panama from the Van Halen live album they put out right before they broke up for the last time. He goes, hot damn.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have like a clip of it, but it's.
I saw him at the Garden. I don't know, maybe 10
I
years ago.
left.
Or so.
I left.
I left too. It was terrible.
I left.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I worshipped Van Halen. My babysitter gave me Van Halen too. Like I might have been 5 years old, and I was like obsessed with Van Halen. And a 1984 tour, my mom let me skip school to go to Off the Record on Orchard Lake in 13 Mile and wait for tickets. They sold out before we could get them. And it was very disappointing to me. I didn't throw a fit, though, unlike everyone else that calls into rock stations. And so I finally got to see him, right? So when they played The Garden, I was all excited. David came out and didn't sing. So I'm like, I'm not watching this. Like, I'm not going to watch him.
Sung every third word. I was there with you that night.
It was. I'm like, I'm not going to watch this. I didn't pay for a ticket. You know, I was there because the station gave me tickets. But I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and watch this. I don't want my memory of this to be him doing that. So if that's going viral, I'd want that going viral if I'm him.
By the way, I looked at the set list from last night. Exclusively Van Halen songs. No solo stuff.
If he got back together with that Eat 'Em and Smile band, I would pay good money to see David Lee Roth with Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan and Craig Bissonette. They're all still alive. Eat 'Em and Smile is better than any Van Halen album, top to front to back.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
That is
maybe it's better than all but 2 Van Halen albums front to back. Maybe Van Halen 1's better and 1984 is better.
Yeah.
But Eat 'Em and Smile is better than Fair Warning, Diver Down, Women and Children First.
Oh, You Wait One too?
Well, anything with Hagar is in Van Halen. Please.
Or as it was announced during the Grammys one year, I don't know who was doing the nominees, but he said, "Oh, You Wait 12."
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's just funny that album was nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
The Grammy's very exclusive. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you to Keith Lockhart and thank you to Bill Belichick. We found out that he had bought a $2.2 million home for a woman while he was with the defensive coordinator of the Giants. She was a receptionist for the team. All right, you can read that at your own
leisure. Did he
leisure.
buy her a house, or was he just paying for her New Jersey rentals?
Well, she was a receptionist and didn't have any money to buy a condo, and he bought her she had a $2.2 million condo. Her ex-husband didn't buy it for her. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Talk to you tomorrow. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.